Lidl's Pick of the Week, you can fill the fridge with 6 great deals on an award-winning selection of fruit and veg. Like 1 kilogram of sweet potatoes for 89p, a bag of lemons and limes for also 89p, and red peppers for 49p each. Find more in-store at Lidl and keep mealtimes feeling fresh. Subject to availability. Selected stores, GB only.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard on a huge day of Scottish football. The League Cup takes centre stage. All eyes on Ibrox. Protests planned outside the front door. How will Russell Martin fare when Hibs come to town? Elsewhere in the competition, we've got Aberdeen against Motherwell. In the Premiership, it's Dundee against Livingston. We've already got one team through. St Mirren progress on penalties, and tomorrow the lineup will be complete with either Partick Thistle or Celtic. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me today you have Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell and Hugh Keevins.
There is only one topic of conversation today as the protesters prepare to gather outside the front door at Ibrox, as Rangers owner Andrew Kavanagh flies in from California and takes his seat in the director's box. Will Russell Martin be able to survive as head coach if Rangers should lose to Hibs in the Premier Sports Cup? From Connick Hill to a mountain in Govan, a mountain that Russell Martin must climb in the face of venom and anger from his own club's fans. But at least he has one friend left, and that's the Celtic manager, Brendan Rodgers. Can this season get any stranger, Daz?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. Cup football, Kilmarnock and St Mirren last night was an absolute cracker. I think we'll get the same today. You're looking at two really tight games. Aberdeen, Motherwell could go anyway. Aberdeen need a victory, but Motherwell are playing superb football, and Hugh quite rightly highlighted the importance of Rangers and Hibs, and then Partick and Celtic tomorrow. And also there's a lot of good fixtures up and down the leagues.
Yeah, again, looking forward to the football today. I think Aberdeen Motherwell will be a cracking game. Two teams that will be looking to try and progress, and then all eyes are on at Ibrox later on today, and we've also got the Dundee Livingston game as well, which will be interesting.
I love this stage of the season, Hugh. I love this weekend because obviously the league starts and it's all very interesting, but it's too early to look at the league table. It's too early to make any conclusions. You find out in May, but for the League Cup, this is it. This is Hampden. Once you get to this stage, you start to dream. You think you're only a couple of games away. There are a set of teams who expect to win it. There are some that hope to win it. There are some that it would be in their wildest dreams, and you can see that really spread across this weekend. Look at the scenes when St Mirren become victorious last night. The pressure goes on Rangers today. It's all there.
As you know, I prefer to go straight to the dark and sinister side of it all. And by that I mean, can Russell Martin survive a defeat? And if Jimmy Tillene fails to beat Motherwell at Pittodrie and goes out of the Premier Sports Cup, I think he joins Russell Martin on the naughty step. 5 league wins in 31 matches for Jimmy Tillene, and if he goes out of this cup, then I think his job's in jeopardy as well.
Crazy game football. You're into September, not even into October yet, and manager already coming under enormous pressure. And I agree with you, I think Aberdeen need a big result. He's been backed up there. It's got to be a difficult game against a Motherwell side that are playing very attractive football. Okay, they've had the right few draws in the league, but they're capable of going and winning that. And then obviously the big talking point will be Rangers Hibs. Also, I am so looking forward to, will Russell Martin bring back Raskin?
Looking forward to it. Let's go around the grounds to start off then. We're building up to kick off at Ibrox a bit later on, but the cream of the crop in the 3 o'clock games, we've actually got a 3 o'clock game on the telly in the Cup. It comes between Aberdeen and Motherwell, and Dave Galloway's there.
Well, Gordon, despite growing noise from Aberdeen fans following a very poor start to the season that sees their team bottom of the Premiership, Jimmy Tilleen is taking everything in his stride. He's demanding greater intensity from his players, but believes they have, and I quote, grown, and every week they get stronger. Well, results certainly do not say that. They certainly say otherwise. Motherwell come here having played some very impressive football indeed under Jens Bertel Askew. Although, as we've touched upon there have been plenty draws for them. They are unbeaten in 10 games this season in all competitions. The Steelmen full of confidence, but can the same be said for the Dons? Today's two managers, incidentally, they have crossed swords a few times before. Tilleen's last game in charge of Elfsborg before taking over at Pittodrie saw a defeat by Askew's Gothenburg. Let's see how this one pans out. It could be a fascinating cup tie. Very much looking forward to it. Let's look at the teams then, and just the one change for both sides. Aberdeen firstly, Armstrong is in for Helton and Nielsen, so it's Meetoff in goals, then Jensen, Dorrington, Knooster and Giamfi at the back. Armstrong sitting alongside Shinnie, and it's Keskinen, Aushish and Carlson with Nisbet the main striker. The subs for the Dons: Suman, Devlin, Nielsen, Polvara, Clarkson, Milanovic, Palaversa, Milne and Lazatic. Just the one change, like I say, for Motherwell as well. O'Donnell is in for Kutrombis at right back. So it's Ward in goals for the Steelmen. Then across the back for O'Donnell, Gordon, Welsh and Longello. Fadinger and Watt the sitters, then Masmenize side and Charles Cook with Stamatolopoulos leading the line for the Well. Subs for them today: Oxborough, Balmer, Halliday, Kutrombis, Osong, Priestman, Ross, McAllister and McComb. Match referee today is John Beaton. The sun is beating down. It's a beautiful day here in the northeast, and we do have VAR today, and the man in charge of that is Gordon Duncan.
Oh, looking forward to it, Hugh. There's so many storylines attached to this. As we said, it's pretty obvious when you get to this stage, nothing really matters as much as getting to Hampden, getting to a semi-final. But as you say, Jimmy Tilleen perhaps could be doing without exiting the cup at this stage.
A catalogue of calamity. He has 1 point from 12, no goals at all, bottom of the table, 12 points behind Celtic and Hearts after 4 games in the league. He needs to win. It's as simple as that, because Aberdeen can't be like that. They can't be bottom of the league and out of the first cup competition of the season. But Motherwell, very enterprising, and they will go there with confidence.
And yet, Gordon, Motherwell don't win football matches really. They have had a lot of praise, and to be fair, for anyone who's actually watched, it's not that it's been over the top, it's not that it's been false, it's not that it's style and no substance, because they genuinely do play that brand and play it well, and they move the ball back to front and it works. What they've done a couple of times is they've had a few bad goalkeeping errors and so on, but nevertheless they haven't won football matches.
Yeah, they're consistent in the league, you've got to say. They've drawn 5 games, they've scored 7 and lost 7, but I think they're getting a lot of plaudits for the football, and I think that a lot of Motherwell fans, looking at the sort of style of football, think we'll soon turn those draws into victories and pick up 3 points. But look, they've got off to a good start, sitting 6th in the league. They've got a cup game today. I still think Aberdeen should be favourites, but I think a lot of people will fancy Motherwell, and I will not be surprised if Dave Galloway gets extra time up there.
I think when you listen to those teams, Cammy, maybe that's the bit that does put pressure on Jimmy Tilleen, because people might think that he's got a squad that's capable of better than what they're producing so far. On the other side, maybe it shows up this notion that Aberdeen are really struggling and that it can't turn round, because you look at some of those names. Stuart Armstrong coming in and starting the game today. We mentioned the signing of Carlson. He's got 14 Sweden caps, Kevin Nisbet, etc.
Yeah, no, listen, I think the recruitment, I've said this before, the recruitment during the summer has been fantastic. They've just not managed to find a winning formula on the pitch, and it needs to start today. Today's a massive match for Aberdeen. It's a big match for Motherwell as well, of course it is, but I feel like Aberdeen being at Pittodrie today, it's almost turning into a must-win time. And I think if they do get the win today, it also just takes a little bit of the heat off of Jimmy Tilleen, because yes, it's ramping up, they're not getting the wins in the league, they're sitting bottom of the league, it's not good enough, but I think if they can get through to that semi-final, it'll just take a little bit of the heat off them.
Kenny, last 2 games in the league, back to back at Pittodrie, the 2 promoted clubs, Falkirk and Livy, 3 hours of football. Jimmy Tilleen's side could not score a single goal. So, you know, I do appreciate what you're saying, but if they are to come back, they will need to be transformative against Motherwell today.
Having said that, was it the one change Dave said about Nielsen coming out and Armstrong going in? Was that the change? Yeah. That sounds like, although it's just one change, Gordon, that could really change the way a team plays. That sounds like a very front foot alteration from the manager.
You know, I do the show with Big Marv on a Tuesday, and I was talking to him before it, because they played Aberdeen up there, and they said that he was quite impressed with them. He says they were in a false position, but you have to get results. They've got a good enough team. The manager has been back to the hill. They were 3 terrific signings just before the transfer window closed. Good experience, goal scorer, a guy with 14, 16 Swedish caps. So a lot of good signings, a lot of good quality there, but he's got to start winning games. He can't live off the Scottish Cup win all the time, Gordon. That eventually come to an end for him, so he has to win.
Luckiest man in the world in Cup final day. His team were as bad as Celtic. Celtic were awful, and Aberdeen were equally awful, and the goals scored in regulation time reflected how awful they were. But he got to penalty kicks, and Celtic's awfulness refused to stop, and he had 4 magnificent penalties and became a hero in Union Street in Aberdeen the following day. But he was a lucky man.
Let's hear from both managers. Jimmy Tilleen first up.
No, I respect always emotions. I always respect our fans. If it's noise sometimes, that's it is what it is in this business. That's why the sport is so big, because it catch everything in a human being. It's the emotions, it's togetherness, it's excitement, it means so much for so many people. So it's not strange when things don't exactly go as you expected or hoping for. Then the emotions are there, but when you're working in it like a manager or a player, you have to focus and do the job and do it really well, and don't get distracted by noise or opinions.
And Jens Bertel Askew in the Motherwell dugout today.
You don't necessarily have to score more goals than your position during the first 90 minutes or 120 to win the game. And today they were banging in penalties for fun. That looked really good. So we're ready if we need to use a few penalties to get through as well.
We generally have 1 or 2 Premiership fixtures this weekend when teams take advantage of a gap in the calendar if they're not in the competition. So it's Dundee and Livingston who fill that slot today, watched by David Friel.
Yeah, Gordon, a bit of common sense broke out. This game was rearranged, and you mentioned events at Ibrox dominating earlier on. Well, I think there's going to be an extra interest in this one to see if Dundee can win, and of course send Rangers down at the 11th place before they kick off in the Cup tonight. Stephen Pressley will probably be aware of that. I'm sure he won't be focusing on that little subplot. He just wants to claim his first league win as Dundee manager. In the crazy world of Scottish football, I know it's so early, but if Dundee do win today, they'll jump up to 5th place. But if Livy win, they will go 3rd, albeit, as I said, it's so early in the season and both will have played more games than others. I think it's fair to say Stephen Pressley's probably sort of steadied things just about since that turbulent start at Dens Park. He's got 3 draws in his last 4 games, although he did lose the Tayside derby, Dundee derby. He's taken a point off Rangers. Good performance. Kilmarnock, he was okay, and then Motherwell, they fought back last week to claim a point as well. But I think it's fair to say also that he needs to start winning games, especially at home. If Dundee are going to stay in the league, and that is a target, I think you can be sure this is the type of fixture that Stephen Pressley's targeted for 3 points and the win. But likewise, nobody should expect Davy Martindale and his players to come here with any fear. They've had a bit of an up and down start to the season, but I think they'll fancy themselves today. As we said earlier, this fixture was brought forward from the end of October after both clubs went out of the League Cup. I think the Livingston boss sounded pretty bullish about their chances this week. They got a good point at Pittodrie last weekend, but again they also need to start getting more wins on the board, and I've no doubt David will feel he can get 3 points today. Saying all that, I think both teams will come out and have a real go, and hopefully it'll lead to plenty of goals at Dens Park. Dundee have made just one change from that Motherwell draw. Cam Congreve, who's really impressed last week off the bench, he's in for the band. Jan Danda, so John McCracken in goals, looks like a 4-4-2. Jay Wright, Ryan Astley, Clark Robertson and Luke Graham at the back. Midfield 4 of Cam Congreve, Finn Robertson, Ethan Hamilton, Tony Yagani, with Simon Murray and Joe Wesley in attack. Subs for Dundee are Carson, Ingram, Cometio, Aqua, Hay, Samuels, Riley, Galabov and Jones. As for Livingston, just one enforced change. Ryan McGowan drops out, Shane Blaney comes back in. So it's like the usual 4-2-3-1 from Livy. Jerome Prior in goals, Daniel Finlayson, Shane Blaney, Danny Wilson and Adam Montgomery at the back. Macaulay Tate and Mo Silla against his former club will be sitting in midfield with Lewis Smith, Scott Pittman and Teti Yengi in behind Robbie Muirhead. Subs for Livy are Hamilton, Sissoko, Carey, Robinson, McLennan, Winter, May, Shinney and Burkia. The referee at Dens Park is Ross Hardy and the VAR is Stephen McLean.
And we've thrown a championship game in for good measure as well to keep across all the divisions. Airdrie take on Wraith Rovers. Fraser Wishart is at that one.
Yeah, happy to be here. Gordon, happy to be back at a club where I ended my career here, and you forget what a good setup it is. You know, they've got a great ground and they've got a really vocal support, so looking forward to this 90 minutes. In the studio, you're talking about managerial jobs and shaky nails and all this kind of stuff, but it's been an early change, of course, in the dugout at Airdrie. This time not a club jumping the gun. It was Rhys McCabe who received deserved plaudits for his performance as manager, but he decided it was time to leave, and that led to the appointment of the experienced Danny Lennon as manager, old teammate Gordon Duncan. I played against him many times and he brings a lot of know-how to his squad. In his first game in charge against Partick Thistle last weekend, Airdrie led until very late on, played really well, and despite losing and having a smaller budget, I think Danny Lennon must realise he's got a decent squad to work with, but they do sit bottom of the table after 5 games, 2 draws, 3 defeats, so they need to start winning, obviously, and the balance of young players from the academy, experienced players like Charlie Telfer, Sean McGinty, Lewis Strapp, been around this level for many years, and Wraith Rovers also have plenty of experience. Manager Barry Robson, of course, we know well, and the likes of Hibs legends Paul Hanlon, Lewis Stevenson, and they've got a bit of a spark up front, great players, Lewis Vaughan, Paul McMullen and Dylan Easton, who know their way around this level as well. But Rovers, who sit second place at the moment, they'll be looking to keep themselves in the race for at least a playoff place. Lost to St Johnstone last weekend, and after last night's St Johnstone win against Dunfermline, now 6 points behind the Perth side, who are making a strong move. And I think looking at the squad, said earlier, you do expect Rovers to be in the mix for the playoffs, so an important game today to get a win and stay in touch with the top. I came across an interesting stat about recent games between these two. Goals really at a premium. Last 14 games between them, only once has either side scored more than 1 goal, and incredibly 10 of those 14 games have ended 1-0, so there might not be a lot of goals here today, but I expect a really hard fought, tight and interesting 90 minutes. For Airdrie, they're unchanged from that game against Partick Thistle I mentioned earlier. They go with 4-4-2 formation. Matty Conley in goals, Craig Ross, Aidan Wilson, Sean McGinty and Lewis Strapp across the back, Lewis McGrattan, Cole McKinnon, Charlie Telfer and Jamie Burjonas across the midfield, with Chris Mockery just behind the lone striker Ewan Henderson. Their substitutes: David Hutton, Dylan McDonald, Dean McMaster, Gavin Gallagher, Aaron Reid, Liam McStravick, Tate Xavier Jones, Cammy Cooper and Rhys Armstrong. A few changes by Barry Robson from that defeat against St John's. He's made 3. Out go Stevenson, Byrne and Vaughan onto the bench. In come Ewan Wilson's on loan, I think it's his first start, and also Rowe and Hamilton. They've also changed formation, 3-4-3 formation. Josh Ray in goals, a back 3, Jordan Doherty, Callum Fordyce and Paul Hanlon. 4 across the middle, Jai Rowe, Ross Matthews, Scott Brown and Ewan Wilson, with Paul McMullen, Jack Hamilton and Dylan Easton as the 3 forward players. Aidan Glavin, Darragh O'Connor, Richard Chin, Lewis Vaughan, Joshua Gentle, Sean Byrne, Kai Montague, Lewis Stevenson, Paul Nseo are the substitutes, and the match official today is on his own, no VAR. The referee is Ryan Lee.
Looking forward to it. That is the team news ahead of our featured matches kicking off at 3 o'clock. We'll pause for breath and then return with a look at some of the week's biggest talk.
This season, I want to see us have a real shot. Want to see us at full strength. Want a bench that gives us options. Want to get some momentum. Want to do it on a cold, wet night in November. Want to be top at Christmas. Want to beat them on Boxing Day. Want to go ahead in January. Want to put the league table on the group. Want to hear them say, can they do it this year? Want to listen to their doubters. Want to prove them all wrong. Look them in the eye and say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fitz-all Media is an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
Points.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel and Cammy Bell are in the studio. The top team are around the grounds, and we're not too far away from the 3 o'clock kickoffs. We don't have many of them. We've got plenty to come in the cup, but as always at this stage on a Saturday, we try to reflect on some of the week's biggest talking points. And Hugh Keevins, I would say pretty much without exception, start to finish, it was all about Rangers, Russell Martin and Loch Lomond.
And how did Russell Martin feel this morning when he found out that the key incident panel decided that Lawrence Shankland's goal should not have stood at Ibrox? The decision to disallow Rangers' goal should not have been made. So it's been a terrible week for him, and it will culminate today in that must-win game against Hibs. You know, Brendan Rodgers, I thought, was being fair. The managers' union is alive and well. He was saying that on top of all these other problems, Russell Martin doesn't really need people who used to work for Rangers picking faults in what he does. From a journalistic point of view, David Friel and I would say, well, if they say it, free speech is alive and well. So you'd have to decide in your own mind whether Brendan Rodgers was correct in what he said or unfair on whether it was Neil McCann, Billy Dodds, Barry Ferguson, whatever. But Russell Martin dominates conversation, and there will be scenes at Ibrox today, and we can only hope that they are kept within reason. Behaviour is reasonable, but it's not a help to those players because, as Cammy and Gordon know, the Rangers dressing room is on the pavement where the fans will congregate, and they will hear every negative word.
Fraser Wishart, a lot of the discussion this week has been around the fact that in many people's minds it is as toxic and negative and unforgiving as they've ever seen or heard a Rangers crowd. You've been in the game a long time in your various roles. Is that something you'd go along with? You ever seen a level of intensity on a manager quite like this?
No, I don't think I have, and not so quickly as well, Gordon. I think it's the changed world of the power of supporters. You know, back in the day when I was playing, if you played badly, they would go down the pub and talk to their six pals and to say Wishart was rubbish. But nowadays it goes online and things can move very quickly, and then all of a sudden there's a bandwagon that can rule quickly against the manager. But the results haven't been good, so you have to understand if you're the Rangers and the results have been like they are, there's going to be that kind of pressure. And I don't think it matters what Russell Martin does. You know, back in my day with Rangers, Walter Smith, if we had a poor few results, would take us to a West End restaurant and we'd have pasta and wine and a few beers. Thankfully there weren't any mobile phones around those days to record it, but that was what managers did, and I don't think it mattered what Russell Martin did this week. He was always going to get it in the next. So going to Loch Lomond and climbing a hill, so what? If it gives him a bit of freshness, it clears the heads a wee bit. I think it's, as he said, if they'd done it when they were winning, nobody would have batted an eyelid. So there is real pressure, and you know, today's game, Rangers against Hibernian, usually you're saying, you know, Hibs need to play really well to get a result, and of course they will, but it's a 50-50 game in my eyes, you know. And even last weekend nobody was particularly overly shocked by Hearts winning at Ibrox, and the only way Russell Martin's going to keep his job and is going to win the fans round if he can, because I don't think many of them wanted him there in the start, and that's the starting point for a lot of supporters. They can't be won round if they're such dogged in their views. But if he's going to win the supporters round, he's got to win football games. It sounds very cliche, it sounds very simple, but if he loses today, the pressure's on, and Andrew Kavanagh's in town. I think he's going to come in anyway, but all of a sudden the pressure's going to just build and build and build, and it'll be interesting to see what the reaction is outside the ground before the game. As you say, how many supporters are actually vocal and actually attending this protest? Yeah, let's hear what Russell Martin had to say on the subject of protests.
It's a really difficult balance, because it hurts professionally, because we're working so hard to try and give the supporters what they want. Is a team that wins and wins a lot and does it in a certain way. So I'm more frustrated than anyone, because we're the guys ultimately that are in charge of that, and with the results and some of the performances, been really frustrated, really difficult. And then being in here and listening to someone tell me the team doesn't look like it's coached is difficult, because I think the one thing that we've always had with any of our teams is they they have a certain way of doing things. Whether you believe in it or you like it or not, they definitely look a certain way, which takes a lot of time on the training pitch. So we'll get there with this team. The fans' protests and stuff I can't control at all, so I don't spend any time. I have to respect it. I have to understand their frustration and their annoyance, but I feel every bit of it as well. But I do think it's an amazing opportunity for us as a team to come through this period and to grow through it and to be so strong from it. And hopefully at that point then everyone will come together. We just need to win football matches. So the protests and stuff like that, I can't take it personally. I don't know any of them, and they don't know me, and they don't know how hard we're working. But I think the people inside the building, I feel incredibly well supported. The players, the staff, ownership, and as long as that continues, then it'll be fun.
Yeah, again, you listen to Russell Martin talking, it sounds like a manager that doesn't feel the pressure, certainly from the ownership of the club at this moment in time. But listen, you know the noise that's around the stadium today, and it has been there all week. And going back to the Loch Lomond thing, for me, listen, if he gets a result today, then it's worked. But again, I just feel it was the timing of it for me. You can do what you want, like you can take them away if you think that's right as a manager, to go and take them away and take them off the training field, and that's absolutely fine. But ultimately it'll all depend on where the result is today, what the end result is today. If they get through this cup game, then maybe it's worked. The pressure will ease a little bit, but certainly if they don't progress through this game, then it's going to be really hard to see how Russell Martin survives this.
It's a peculiarity of this part of the world. As Fraser rightly pointed out, there was a time when players went out in the company of the manager and would have a few drinks, and it would come out as the team that drinks together stays together, and everyone appreciated that. That was a kind of macho thing to do, go out and get a few drinks. But Connacht Hill, a dip in the water, and people think, what's he doing? But that's his approach to life. It doesn't chime with the Rangers supporters' approach to life. And if he'd asked someone inside Ibrox, how does this go down with the fans, they would have said, I wouldn't bother with that, Russell, if I were you.
I don't get caught up in the Monday team bonding. Listen, the only surprise for me is the timing of it. 5 league games in and you're having to try and get a wee bit of team bonding. You can put on the fact that there was players come in late in the transfer window, get all that. It doesn't really bother me. Every manager does it different ways. Whether I would have hate to have been a player on Monday knowing that I was going to Loch Lomond to get in the water, I think I would have been injured. But it's all about today. I'm surprised. I said it last week, I didn't think he was going to hang on to his job. He's hanging on by a thread. If he loses tonight, there's absolutely no way he can be the manager by Monday morning.
It doesn't sound like he's in fear of his job.
Possible.
What do you make of that, David Friel? Because as Cammy pointed out, if you listen to him and you take him at face value, and he sounds fairly relaxed about it, it does feel like the Rangers fans and the Rangers hierarchy in a very different page on this one.
Yeah, it does. There was a lot of kind of interesting stuff yesterday from Russell Martin Gordon, but I didn't come away from it thinking, he thinks he's going to get the sack anytime soon. I think tonight is key, both on the pitch and off the pitch, and Andrew Kavanagh can be told, and it can be relayed to the level of feeling. It's not until you go and live it and see it and experience it, and if this goes badly for Rangers tonight after the pre-match protest, then I think Andrew Kavanagh might get a bit of a shock, because I can't for a second think he knows how bad it got last week. I don't know where he'll be watching the game from. I'm assuming he's home in America, but that was amazingly toxic, and I don't think until you're in that stadium can you really appreciate that. So it'll be fascinating to see how he reacts tonight if it does go badly. But Russell Martin, to me, just sounds like a guy who feels he has the full support of Kevin Thelwell, Patrick Stewart and Andrew Kavanagh for now.
I would like to see what happens if Rangers win, because fans say, well, I don't care. He's still not the manager in my eyes. So it's a fascinating night at Ibrox, because how many people will be there to begin with, and how will they respond? We know how they'll respond to defeat, but how will they respond to victory? Will some say, I still don't want him as manager? Will all say, we still don't want him as manager?
Yeah, the thing there, and David touches on it, there are people inside the building believe that he's the man to take them forward. They're going to ride out this storm, but he's got the support of Patrick Stewart, Kevin Thelwell right now, but the fans are starting to turn against him as well. And when that happens, when the sinking ship goes down, listen, they're all out to save themselves. So I do not think it's possible for Russell Martin to get put out the cup tonight by Hibs and still remain as manager.
Another one on the topics that Russell Martin's had to negotiate is Nicholas Raskin. Here's what he had to say on that front.
Yeah, he's in the squad. Yeah, he's trained really well this week. I think even that situation, maybe it's a necessary thing for this group to improve, to understand what is really important. I think it will be a really important period for Nico and his growth as a human being and a player, and I think it will be good for me in the long term as well to really to learn from it. So he's in a good place. He's back in the squad. I'm looking forward to having him back in.
Sounds to me like he's making it up as he goes along on this one, but my take on it would be that Russell Martin can't afford principles today. If he thought Nico Raskin was a pain in the neck yesterday, he still thinks he's a pain in the neck today, but he's a pain in the neck that he needs, and therefore I think he has to put himself first, put Raskin on from the start, get however many fans are inside the ground, get them all in favour of Raskin being out on the pitch, and take it from there. It's a simple equation. Russell Martin knows that Raskin might be the difference between winning and losing, and the difference between winning and losing might be him being in the job or out.
Will he start today?
I've got a sneaky that he might put him on the bench. If I was Russell Martin, I'm like you, I'd be starting him all day and putting him out there and saying, right, okay, you have been singing from the rooftops here to get Raskin back in the team. There he is. Let's see what he can do, and put a bit of pressure on him as well. So I would start him, but I've got a funny feeling that Russell Martin, I don't think he can second guess him. I think he may put him on the bench.
I think he's got to start. For me, he's got to start for his talent and what he brings to the Rangers team. But again, there's a secondary thing to it as well, where you look at the negativity. If he's still on the bench, I think the fans will be singing his name. Listen, just get him on the pitch. A lot of Rangers fans know that he's probably one of the best midfielders they've got, so I think you just put him on the pitch and you deal with the situation, because they need to win this game. That's a be all and end all.
But we said that last week against Hearts, and he left him in the stand.
I know.
Right, so it must be a massive week that they've came together. He's got that trust back from the players. I totally agree. I think every Rangers fan going to Ibrox tonight wants Raskin to start. I think he's got to start him. But just looking at the way Russell Martin handles himself, I would not be surprised if he puts him on the bench.
I think it's pragmatism and realism. Even Russell Martin has to go with the majority on this one and say, look, with him you've got a better chance of winning. If you win, you keep your job for sure. If you lose, you might be away.
Fraser Wishart, you'll have seen many disputes between player and manager, I'm sure, over the years. It's so difficult, I think, to make an assessment when you don't know what's been done, if anything, and what line was crossed, if any. But people are then just boiling it down to Nicholas Raskin is good and therefore he should play. What do you think this will look like today?
I think Raskin will play, and I think that's the right decision as well. Whatever happened, and you're right, I've dealt with many issues similar to this, worse than this, where something's happened. But if you're going to have a sanction, you're going to have a punishment, whatever that is served, and then you move on, and players get fined, and then you move on, and the manager has to move on. And I get the impression that Russell Martin has decided to move on. So does Nico Raskin as well, because it does neither of them any good for this to be festering and stewing, for him to be sitting in the stand as well, because Nico's got the World Cup at the end of the year. So just looking back to last weekend, it was almost as if that was the sanction, that was the punishment. I can't bring you back into the team, Nico, because the team did okay against Celtic, got a point, and like Conor Barron, etc., played quite well. Now that's different this week. If that's a punishment, it's I'm leaving you out this week, and after that it's all up to play for. We have to have a clean slate. That to me makes perfect sense, because this can't fester, this can't stew, and that's the impression I get behind the scenes at what's happened. Where the punishment was, I can't bring you back in the team, I'm leaving you out for the Hearts game. After that, clean slate, let's move on and work together, and that's the only way forward for Rangers and for Russell Martin and for Nico as well.
Is it a full house? David Friel, will he play today?
I think he's in the squad, Gordon. He has to play, because otherwise, as Cammy mentioned, the chants are just going to start up. I don't actually for a second think that everything's okay between them, but I don't really think it has to be. I think Russell Martin in this one's probably swallowed his pride a wee bit. As you said, put his principles to one side, and just looking at it, Nico Raskin is Rangers' best midfielder. Rangers have got a better chance of winning the game with him in the team. Russell Martin doesn't have to like him as a person, they don't have to like each other. He's just better being in this team, and I think if he's in the squad at all, he's on the bench, I think it would just lead to more problems for Russell Martin.
Well, that's another one that we'll keep an eye on as the afternoon progresses. It has mostly been Rangers getting the full focus this week for understandable reasons, but then a late run last night, Hugh Keevins, 6:30 or 7 around that time, when Celtic's accounts came out. Now, to people in other parts of the footballing world, they might not care about clubs' accounts, but here it's important, and this year it's extra important because Celtic fans are getting themselves in all sorts of tangle over what the club should and shouldn't spend and when they spend it. So what did you make of it? The headlines were obviously the £77 million cash in the bank, which has remained roughly the same as last year, but crucially a £34 million profit, which is up significantly on last year.
From a business perspective, they are a massive success story. When it comes to making money, they are a well-oiled machine, Celtic. When it comes to spending money, how they spend it, when they spend it, they are a dithering, blundering, clapped out jalopy. And they are not in the Champions League for that reason. They did not spend when they should have spent, and they paid for it with a Champions League exit. But again, why they feel they have to bring out important news for the fans at peculiar times of day. The famous statement about the transfer window, which came out at 8:42 on a Saturday evening. The accounts which come out after 7 o'clock on a Friday night. Is that so that no one can get to anyone to ask them a question about it? I don't know why they have to be furtive and secretive in this manner. However, from a business perspective, they can only be applauded. They have figures that are unprecedented, and they are one of the best run clubs in Europe. However, when it came to Europe's premier competition, they made a mess of it.
What's to be taken away from the figures last night, David?
I think it says everything, Gordon, when the figures come out and Celtic's cash in the bank was 77 million. People were saying, is that all? I think we all heard the stories that it was going to be over 100 million and all this sort of stuff. It was interesting. Look, nothing really surprised you from it. I actually thought that the most eye-catching stuff was from Michael Nicholson's statement, where he basically said that the board took responsibility for the Champions League failure and accepted the responsibility for not getting signings in time. I think Peter Lawwell in his chairman's statement also said that the timing of key acquisitions wasn't ideal and that they would sort of learn lessons from that moving forward. So it's the first time, obviously we had that statement. I think it's the first time that the board members, chief executive and Michael have come out and addressed that in person.
Do you think that'll be enough for the Celtic fans? Is that the acknowledgement that they were looking for? Is that enough?
I don't think it'll ever be enough because of the level of feeling, Gordon, but I think they could have just done it instead of that statement a couple of weeks ago. I think if there had been a 6-line statement a couple of weeks ago from Michael Nicholson saying, look, we accept responsibility, it wasn't ideal, and we failed in certain ways, then I think that most of the fans would have accepted that. I think the statement coming before these financial results just sort of muddied the water and just made the fans angrier. But I think you need to give them credit. If we're going to criticise the Celtic board for not owning up and not taking responsibility, I think you do need to give them credit for eventually coming out and saying, look, we messed up, and that's what they did last night.
Suppose the cut-off date for those figures means that the Nicholas Kuhn money, the Adam Ida money, wasn't included, so the picture can improve, but then similarly the Balakwisha and Tunetki money wouldn't have been improved either. So I suppose it depends which way you look at it, David. If you want to look at the profit, then that's the bit Celtic fans who feel they should have spent more, that's the bit they're highlighting. The club are obviously keen to point out, you could see there was almost a defence in there saying that the £77 million cash in the bank hasn't really gone up since last year. They spoke about 2 record signings. They spoke about it being the kind of record period of investment in the team from the club.
Yeah, it does, and I don't think it's any coincidence as well. They come out off the back of the Barrafield unveiling. Obviously Celtic's old training facility has been completely revolutionised, and Celtic finally, I remember the Ronnie Dyla Dome was getting talked about, what was that, 11 years ago. Celtic finally have an indoor facility as well. Looks very impressive. There's also money spent in that too, but as you say, within the think it was Peter Lawwell's statement, there was a pretty detailed stuff about agents' fees and how 42.6 million, I think it was invested over the last year, 77.5 million over the last 3 years. That's in players alone. So I think Celtic very keen to almost just say to the fans, look, we do spend money, we're not as frugal as being made out, but look, it comes down to the Champions League. Players weren't signed in time and Celtic failed.
Looking forward to debating it further as the days and weeks pass, but for now it's back to full focus on today's 3 o'clock kickoffs, and we go back around the grounds next.
Action as it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell, Gordon Duncan in the studio. Top team round the grounds. We are building up to kick-off, and I think game of the 3 o'clock kick-off certainly would be Aberdeen against Motherwell. Dave, on a much lesser extent, we're talking about Ibrox here and how many fans are going to turn up, because if you're disgruntled, these are the fixtures that tend to miss out. They're not on season tickets and so on. Is that going to be an issue for Aberdeen today? Is this perhaps going to be a bit of a low-key affair given their start to the season?
Yeah, looking round the ground at the moment, plenty empty spaces. They were expecting a crowd of around 12,000 here. Motherwell, they brought a really good support up, over 1,100, which is terrific, and they're making plenty noise over on the far side there. But very fair to say, discontent among Don's supporters, it has been growing, especially after, as we've touched upon earlier on the show, taking just 1 point from 6 at home to the 2 newly promoted teams. Looking at Jimmy Tilleen, the fans, undoubtedly, from the ones that I've spoken to, they are split over the manager. What I think will be very interesting will be to see how the home fans will react if the visitors start the better side and maybe go a goal in front. The feeling here in this city is that they could turn on their team if they get beaten today. Motherwell, of course, will be full of confidence and determined to turn on the style. Some of the football they play is just great to watch. Both sides capable of playing football. It's pleasing on the eye. It's fair to be said. Motherwell certainly far more so than Aberdeen, but both, as we know, they've lacked a cutting edge this season. And I just wonder, could the key to this tie lie with whichever side is sharper up front? And I agree with Gordon's view that he expressed earlier, that this could go beyond the 90 minutes. We could be in for extra time and maybe even penalties. Who knows?
We'll find out very soon. Gordon, we mentioned Aberdeen's firepower, or what should be firepower, in Stuart Armstrong, Jesper Karlsson, Kevin Nisbet. Is it safe to say Tawanda Maswanisi is carrying Motherwell's hopes? He's got 7 goals already this season.
Yeah, I think he certainly has, and we've got a threat from the left back position as well. That made me beat the pundit the other night. I couldn't remember his name, still don't. I think there'll be a tight game. I think there'll be goals in it. I think both teams have got good firepower now, and they give up goals. So I do think it'll be very tight, and I do think it will be an extra time situation tonight.
A couple of injury concerns though. Motherwell can't seem to get a consistent back four. Now it's Johnny Katrumbis has come out and Stephen O'Donnell goes back in, who had started the season well, to be fair. But Callum Slattery, Elijah Just, they were 2 of the midfield 3 that were really, really looking pleasing on the eye early in the season. Neither of them in the team today.
I think Slattery's a massive miss. He got off to a brilliant start of the season, Gordon. He was playing some terrific football in the middle of the park, so he will certainly be a big miss. And is it Longelli, the left back?
Longello.
I thought it was something like that, but he'll be a threat as well. Look, I think Dave's in for a terrific game. There'll be a good crowd in there, good atmosphere. 2 teams that are desperate to get to a semi-final. That's what the end game is for them. Motherwell will try and dominate by their football. Aberdeen will just go at them. So there will be goals, but it'll be very tight. I couldn't call this one. It's very hard to call.
I think Dave hit on the nail on the head when he said that the first goal could be important, because you've got to prey on Aberdeen's insecurity. Dave's talking about empty seats at Pittodrie. He's talking about the mood in the city, the split over Jimmy Tilleen. The Jimmy Tilleen image has been tarnished by the awful finish to the end of last season and the dreadful start to this one. So if you prey on that insecurity go a goal up and Pittodrie starts to rumble and grumble, then you've got a chance.
David Friel, as you mentioned, there's this quirk of your fixture today where Dundee and Livingston are obviously looking at the points for themselves, but on the outside, the thought of Rangers going into 11th today. If Dundee win the game, you extend that further, technically Rangers could be bottom by the time they play another league fixture. On one hand, that is interesting and dramatic. On the other, that sort of stuff can happen after 5 games because the table can be so volatile.
Yeah, it is. It's just one of those quirks, Gordon, although it does show you how poor Rangers have been in the league. But as I said, Livy can go up to 3rd, Dundee can go up to 5th, and wins have been hard to come by for both. But I just feel this is a bigger game for Dundee than it is for Livingston. I think Livingston coming up from the Championship last season, I think they've settled okay. Look, they've been ups and downs. Real good one against Falkirk, good point against Aberdeen last week. I just think Dundee, Stephen Pressley, given how it started, the fans were a bit sceptical when he took over, especially after some of his comments. The League Cup was a disaster for him. He has settled things, as I said. There's been some half decent results in there, especially away from home, but he needs to get wins on the board. He also needs to get Simon Murray firing. 22 goals last season. He's yet to score in the league this season, 3 games, and get a couple in the League Cup only, but I don't think Simon Murray's probably looked like himself just yet. And again, he'll be looking at this game, especially with Ryan McGowan being out for Livingston. I think that's a bit of a blow, because Ryan McGowan and Danny Wilson have been a really solid, experienced partnership for them. Shane Blaney hasn't played much football and had injury problems at the start of the season, so I'd imagine Simon Murray will be fired up for it. And Stephen Paisley needs his captain, needs his talisman to start scoring goals and get Dundee up this table.
And maybe there's a Championship equivalent on the go, Fraser Wishart as well, because maybe Ross County would be the Rangers of the Championship, or one of them in terms of budget and expectation and all that sort of stuff. An Airdrie win at the game you're at today could indeed see the Staggies bottom of the Championship as well, which would be quite something.
Yeah, I was looking at that table earlier on, Gordon, and they're already 13 points behind. Ross County are 13 points behind St Johnstone at the top of the table, and those were the 2 that you tipped to be right up there challenging for the title. So they've already changed their manager, Ross County, and they haven't quite clicked, even with Tony Docherty in charge. So Airdrie have got a big incentive today. Danny Lennon's in charge now. It's his first home game against a team he played over 150 games for, and of course there's no panic. You're sitting bottom of the table with 2 points, just teams above you in 3, 4 and 5 after 5 games. But if you lose another 2 or 3 and that gap at the bottom grows to 4 or 5 points, all of a sudden, even if you win, you're still on the bottom of the table. So the pressure just begins to build on the players. And it was interesting 90 minutes today. Wraith actually haven't got a great record against Airdrie. I think only 1 win in the last 9. But they need to keep up the challenge on St Johnstone, who are pushing away from everybody, never mind Ross County. So really interesting 90 minutes. I don't think there'll be many goals. I think it could be a draw here. I think it might be 1-1.
So much to look forward to this afternoon. Big 90 minutes coming up in the games that we are featuring, and we're only about 90 minutes away from that protest at Ibrox. We'll get the games kicked off first of all, though. They're coming next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Saturday at 3 o'clock. That's what it's all about. The association football is getting underway in the company of Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell, Gordon DL. We've got lots to keep our eye on between 3 and round about 5 in the first games. Then, of course, attention turning to Ibrox. What a fascinating evening that is going to be, one way or the other. And we're not even done there, because tomorrow it will be Partick Thistle or Celtic who complete the lineup which has been started by St Mirren last night. So before we go any further, let me get predictions from you 3 duds. We've only got 3 featured matches today. 1 in the Cup, 1 in the Premiership, 1 in the Championship. What's it going to look like, Hugh Keevins?
Before you delve too far into duddery, can I just remind you that on last night's programme I tipped St Mirren to win after extra time and penalties.
Off to a flyer. He is off. He's a man at the absolute top of his game.
For one night only. So here we are. Motherwell to beat Aberdeen at Pittodrie. Livingston to beat Dundee at Dems. And Wraith Rovers to beat Airdrie in the Albert Bartlett Stadium. I didn't even know it was called that.
I'm going to go Aberdeen after extra time. I think it'll go into extra time, but I'll take Aberdeen to win and progress. I'm going to take a draw, Dundee v Livingston, and a Wraith Rovers win in the Championship.
I'm not too far away from that. I fancy Aberdeen just going to edge at home advantage today. I fancy Dundee to beat Livingston, and I fancy Airdrie Wraith draw.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
You can't write it sometimes in a week where VAR has had its criticisms. It reaches a stage in the competition where you don't necessarily have to have VAR. The games on TV will, the other games might not. They didn't have it last night, etc. Kick-off at Pittodrie was delayed because they couldn't get VAR to work. But there we are, it is on and we're underway, only a minute or so behind schedule, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Speaking of last night though, we should give them the credit they deserve. We've had a busy first hour and we've not really done it yet. St Mirren, Hugh Keevins, the first team through to Hampden. They can get their feet up over the weekend and sit back and wait to see who joins them.
And especially sweet for Stephen Robinson because one or two had been criticising St Mirren for the way they play. My old pal said he wouldn't pay money to watch them, Sutty. But fair play to them, they are there. They can enjoy the football today and tomorrow at Firhill. And I thought, the goalkeeper they have, Shamal George, is terrific for me. Cammy, I bow to you as a former goalkeeper. He's a good keeper.
Yeah, he's a brilliant. He's had a brilliant start to the season. I think when you look at St Mirren, especially under Stephen Robinson, they've always had good goalkeepers actually. And again, they've recruited really well to bring Shamal George in. But yeah, listen, you've got to give St Mirren full credit for last night. A difficult place to go, Rugby Park, to get the job done, but they did, and you could see the fans after the game on the pitch celebrating what it means to them as a club to get to Hampden. So it was a brilliant night for them, and maybe an opportunity missed for Kilmarnock, I would say.
And that's the way you want to do it, Gordon. It's a late Friday night, a few sore heads this morning, but the drama of penalties when it goes your way.
I thought it was a great game. I really do. I thought it was an exciting game. Some terrific goals added, and then it goes to that dramatic penalty kick shootout, and three each. That next penalty was always the pressure one, and when he misses that, then St Mirren total control.
So many players on both teams who've played for the other team as well. So Kyle McGuinness, one of the guilty parties. Greg Kiltie has obviously done it as well. There was a few kind of littered through. Liam Donnelly took a penalty in the shootout. He has played for the other side in that as well. So
Mark O'Hara, did he?
He has indeed. So there's some familiar faces in there, and it did go St Mirren's way on the night. Two outstanding goals actually when you look at them, very different but both brilliant in their own way.
Yeah, they were really well taken goals, and again it was great for Stephen Robinson. I think he's a brilliant manager. He's done ever so well over the last few seasons to where he's got St Mirren into the top six. And listen, I actually don't. I know Chris Sutton had a wee go at him for his style of play, but I don't mind watching him. I quite find him attacking. I remember I was at the St Mirren v Rangers game. I feel as if they go out to play and score goals. They've got guys at the top end of the pitch who can score goals. So, and their two goals last night were absolutely excellent as well. So
Michael Mandron's still got a Scottish granny, doesn't he? I was just thinking about that last night.
We can only hope.
No, seriously.
Yeah,
that was a thing. Remember, he spoke about it last year. He is technically eligible,
Do you have to find the birth certificate?
Although Lyndon Dykes scored a late winner for Birmingham in the Championship today, so
I think of the people of Paisley. I remember two great cup finals, one Scottish Cup, one League Cup. Danny Lennon 3-2 against Hearts. It was magnificent, and there are people in Paisley who probably haven't sobered up from that one. And I think back to an old pal of mine, Alex Smith. Remember Alec?
Yeah, very well.
St Mirren beating Dundee United in the Scottish Cup final. The final that was first christened the People's Final, and the people turned up in great number. Called that because there was no Celtic and no Rangers in it, and they were coming up with some kind of title to sell it, to brand it. So Paisley, the people love a cup final, and tomorrow after Firhill, Partick Thistle Celtic, the draw will be made. Who knows where it will take them?
Yeah, well done to St Mirren, and kind of low-key start in the Premiership game between Dundee and Livingston, As for Pittodrie, Aberdeen played themselves into trouble early on. Stuart Armstrong gave away a really needless corner, and Motherwell It then came fairly close, got another corner off the back of it, but now it's Aberdeen starting to knock the ball about. They've put a long throw in to try and put a bit of pressure on. What have you made of the return of the long throw?
Love it.
Very much in fashion at the moment, isn't it?
I love it. That? I think the greatest saying in football is get it in the mixer. Get it in the mixer and then take your chance from there. Look, it's a dangerous weapon. It is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Get it in, especially if it gets in at pace.
Like football does that, doesn't it? So many, it's just whatever's in fashion. Because like a few of our teams, I think, to be fair, have done it over the last few seasons. I'm thinking like kind of Dundee United and others. It feels like most Scottish teams will try it, but then Rangers started doing it in the Old Firm game. No one had ever seen James Tavernier do it.
Incredible.
Have you seen the stats from the English Premier League this season?
The goals from it.
So, well, it was actually just the number of them. So just last season, so just a couple of months ago, they were only averaging 1.5 long throws per game, and it's now over double that in the whole league in the space of a couple of months.
Who was the lad from Stoke that used to do it?
Rory
Delap, yeah, he could throw it from his own 18-yard box. By the way, I'll tell you what, we need to be careful. The long throws coming back, that was Fraser Wishart's strength.
I think he could get, if the PFA stuff goes down this morning, he could get in as one of these throw-in coaches.
Yeah, he could just come on like they do in American football.
No, I don't think he's going to play, but maybe a coach.
He only got a game because
he could throw it long. He wasn't very good, but he could throw it long and he could run. That's one thing about Wishart.
Another nice piece of praise from one colleague to another. Hugh, let's do this before we get any further. Some are saying it's one of the hardest we've ever had.
Well,
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
as you know, I am not given to exaggeration. I think this is impossible. 5 men have played for both Aberdeen and Motherwell since 2012. Can you name them? A handful of men have played for both Aberdeen and Motherwell since 2012. Who are they?
They have to have played for both since 2012. The only thing I would say, not that this helps you in any way, but just to underline what Hugh means, 2 of them are absolute rascals. I do not know what happened to producer Jay. I don't know who annoyed him this morning when he helped Hugh with his question, because seriously, 2 of them
won't get.
Just sneaky, I would say, more than anything.
A wee loan situation there, maybe.
There's not many appearances, that sort of thing. I don't mind helping you in the right direction, because they are very tricky indeed. So get your guesses in there. That's the first half teaser at Clyde SSB. It is a race, so ideally we're looking for all correct answers on one tweet sent over to at Clyde SSB before everyone else. But of course, if you want to just throw some names at us, have a bit of fun, chuck 1 or 2 in there and see what sticks, we can do that as well. So at Clyde SSB. You see what I mean though, Hugh? There are 2 in particular.
Oh yeah.
Sneaky.
I tried the question out on our newsreader, Lindsay Hearn, football expert, and he didn't get it.
Well, if Lindsay doesn't get it, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, some goals going in down the league's Queen of the South nil. Inverness won. It's a trek for Inverness to get down there. Chankazimba, what name that is, has put them in front after just 9 minutes. The Ackies are 1 up away at Kelty. Of course, everything Hamilton do is against the backdrop of chaos and madness behind the scenes at the club at the moment.
Never mind that, the Seagulls are up.
Oh, they are, yeah.
Tottenham, home to Tottenham.
Brighton are 1 up. Yep. Grandsons there.
I was going to say they're still going along this season.
Their dad's up here for the weekend, so they're off on their own with their.
Are you looking after them?
Nah, I mean,
are they self-sufficient?
Scruffy.
Are they in your house, is what I'm trying to say?
No.
Alright, I was going to say, because you're usually in a bad mood when that's the case.
No, I don't have no livestock, no visitors.
Comes in at 9 in the morning if the grandkids are in, just to escape them. Just sits in here.
I had 2 in this morning, but threw them out.
Right, at Clyde SSB, don't forget, get those answers, keep them coming in on the teaser. It is a very sneaky one, that's all I'm going to say. I think there's just 2 in particular that are very, very difficult.
I was looking at Dundee's record, 5 games in, no wins. They've got 3 points coming from 3 draws. I'm not surprised, therefore, that there's no scoring yet at Dens Park.
Well, considering there's only 11 minutes on the clock.
He doesn't hang about.
No, I'd have made subs by this time.
Exactly.
Alloa 1, Cove Rangers 0. Curtis Roberts with the goal there. So still some interesting fixtures down the league. It's just a bit of a disrupted card. When you think about it, the start to the top flight season is so disrupted, isn't it? Because we not only have a international break every month for the first 3 months, we then have, is it 2 of these weekends? Is it 2? Yeah, we've had one already, haven't we? League Cup weekend. So it is no wonder people trot out that old cliche about it being too early to look at the league table and so on, because it really is.
It is, but again, if you're supporting Rangers at this moment in time, you certainly, the first thing you do is look at the league table. And again, today it could get worse for them if Dundee managed to get a result. And then for the next weekend, if Aberdeen get a result, then Rangers could be sitting bottom of the table when they face Livingston. So
there's something symbolically mental about that, isn't there?
Crazy.
That would really tip people over the edge, you feel?
No, it would. And again, it's because you never see it happen. Again, we're not used to Rangers being so low in the league table. And I get it's only 5 games, so you can't get too excited about what's going on, but it's been such a poor start, and that just highlights it. When you look at the league table, it tells you its own story, that it's been so bad that they're down the bottom.
Hamilton Accies have gone 2-0 up actually away at Kelty Hearts. Connor Smith with the goal. I tend to tell you the odd random goal from England, usually if it's got a Scottish connection, and there is one. Barry Bannon still going strong.
Yes. How old is Barry Bannon?
He's 52 or something.
Yeah.
At Sheffield Wednesday, 1 up away at Portsmouth. He's actually not quite as old as you would think.
No,
he's
he's
just
younger.
a lot of appearances
Is he?
for Sheffield
I would
Wednesday.
say he's maybe 35.
Bang on.
Oh, there we go.
He's pretty much exactly the same age as me, if that ever helps you. A couple of days out, if I remember correctly.
He's their captain. He's been obviously there a while, so
there was not talk of him leaving in the summer or something, and then ended up
re-signing.
Re-signing. So no goals to tell you about in our featured matches yet. Aberdeen had a kind of shot from Sheesh from distance. It trundled wide. Motherwell probably not quite as comfortable in possession as they have been. Aberdeen have looked not too bad, but Motherwell forcing now their 3rd corner of the afternoon. Said Gordon, I think as much as Motherwell are enjoying their early part of the season, they do seem to pick up a lot of injuries. I saw Callum Hendry in the gym this morning, which straight away told me he wasn't at Pittodrie, and he was brought in to play up front. I think people had high hopes. Not really seen much of him yet. Jordan McGee, who was signed in the summer, hasn't kicked the ball and won't until next year by the looks of things. So,
yeah, it's not ideal, but obviously the manager doesn't come out and make excuses. He just sticks to his game plan, try to play the passing game, which all the Motherwell fans have bought into. Dave highlighted it, 1,100 of them up there this afternoon supporting the team. So yeah, they've had a fair share of bad luck with injuries, but they just get their heads down, go on with it. If they could get to a semi-final, it'd be absolutely brilliant for the town.
Nothing doing in the game between Dundee and Livingston. Macaulay Tate's had a shot saved for Livy, decent chance. Dundee break up the other end but can't quite find the final ball there, so we are really waiting patiently to get the first goals in our featured matches.
Incidentally, Mark Wilson was asking for you last night. He said he hasn't heard from you all week.
Yeah, and he'll not hear from me next week.
Yeah, he says he doesn't hear from you very much anymore.
No, listen.
He actually inquired as to whether you've been tied up.
He phoned me right after,
which was a really unfortunate turn
of
phrase.
Well, I was tied up last night. He phoned me right after coming off Super Scoreboard.
Yeah,
because I was trying to phone him to annoy him because I knew he was on live.
So whilst he was on the show, you were phoning him.
Yeah, just to annoy him.
Thanks for that.
And I had a wee chat with him, and things are going great for him and Alec just now. Delighted. It's when the wheels come off they'll want me back. Always comes. You sit and be patient. They're great now. They don't bother with you. They don't pick the phone up. They don't invite you out. But the minute the wheels come off, first phone call, Dad, where are you?
Help me.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can nod ahead to that fixture a bit later on. There's lots to like about it. It was quite eye-opening actually to hear Mark have him live on the show last night and hear him say that drawing Celtic pretty much prevented redundancies behind the scenes at Partick Thistle. It was that grim a situation. So we'll preview that one as the afternoon progresses. We're not too far away either from getting an update on Protest Gate at Ibrox, Hugh. If it's 4:30 as the official start time, I don't really know how these things work. I don't know when people start to gather, but it won't be too far off.
Again, there are two sides to that particular coin. First of all, a peaceful protest is a legitimate exercise, whether it's politically motivated, sporting motivation, whatever it is. It's it's a legitimate exercise, an exercise in free speech. So let's hope it goes off without any incident, because Cammy was telling me a few years ago about one outside Ibrox that was a bit lively.
It certainly was, Hugh. And again, it was when I was at Rangers and the fans were protesting against the ownership at the club at the moment. At the time, sorry, and again they almost had to barricade the front doors. It was that bad. They were trying to get in, and
I think I was there, not taking part, but as working that night. I think I remember. It was a night-time game.
Yeah, it was. And again, I always just remember coming into the front area, the foyer area, Ibrox, and the police were just right across the front doors. It was mental. It was absolutely bonkers. And again, we can obviously hear it from the changing room and hear the frustration.
It's amazing, that changing room, the window open.
Give us the logistics, because that changing room, the window is right on Edmondson Drive, isn't it?
Absolutely right there. So they'll hear, even if the window's not open, you can hear absolutely everything. So the players will hear, and yes, they'll know about it, it's going to happen, but they'll certainly hear everything that's happening.
We're talking the level of detail here. We were speaking about this last night and saying that surely you just crank the music up. If you're in the dressing room, you just crank the music up, try and drown it out. But at that window,
I don't think you can.
In that time period, there's going to need to be a team talk at some point. So does the music go off? Is that when the protest, and particularly when it's so personal about the guy that's taking the team talk? You just wonder what it'll be like inside.
It'll be interesting. I think all the work will have been done before they get to Ibrox. It's when Russell Martin gets to Ibrox. I'd have been there last night, sleeping in the boardroom, so that I hadn't walked through the fans. I've been in those shoes. I'll tell you what, it's as much as you sit there as a manager and say, look, it's all about the players. It's that, if they want to take it out on me and the anger out on me, that's fine, that's what I'm here for. It's the loneliest place in the world to be, and he must be feeling it. As much as people come on here and they talk about his arrogance and the way he handles his press conferences, let's not be kidded here. He's a human being. It's a horrible thing to go through.
That's why Derek McInnes came out, I think, and spoke publicly about it. Having beaten Rangers 2-0, Derek McInnes, who has played for Rangers, has had a Rangers background, and he understands the country, the game, but even he said he found it disturbing, a level of abuse that he found disturbing.
And just not that you would accuse Derek McInnes of this, but I don't think that there was no like grandstanding or anything about that. I was through doing something else during the week, and sort of off the record, if you're not off the record but away from the mic or whatever, he was reiterating to me just how much he didn't like it, basically. I think it was one that personally got to him quite a bit.
Brendan Rodgers has shown that managers appreciate what other managers are going through, and that was true of Derek McInnes after his side had won 2-0. And as I say, the last thing that Russell Martin needed to find out was that two of the major decisions in that Rangers Hearts game have now been deemed unfair by the key incident panel. So it goes from bad to worse for Russell Martin. As I say, protest is legitimate. The other side of the coin is it undoubtedly does not help, particularly when you have a squad of players that Russell Martin has said can appear scared at times.
Funny you mentioned it, because the KMI panel has, again, a quiet start to the season. I think VAR had a quiet start to the season, so you don't really notice these things until you need to. And clearly there was a lot said about Celtic's penalty at Rugby Park last week. You won't be surprised to hear the KMI panel also thought that was a mistake. They thought Rangers were hard done by on 2 of those occasions, not 3, which is again quite interesting, because the Rangers fans seemed pretty sure that it was all 3, but from memory the KMI panel thought the penalty to Hearts was
fine,
was okay.
Yeah.
It was the disallowed goal, and the handball by Lawrence Shankland.
I thought the contact that Diomande made with the Hearts player was pretty much self-evident.
Did you think it was a penalty kick?
Yeah.
Did you think it was a penalty?
Yeah.
So did the KMI panel.
I'm not with him.
But as usual, it's the ones that they go the other way that maybe cause the most noise. I'm still fascinated by it as a concept, Cammy, because I know why it's there, and it's well intentioned, and it's trying to break that accusation from when we first got VAR that the Scottish FA were marking their own homework.
Yep.
So these are different eyes. This is a kind of independent panel, if you like, who take a look at these and they now vote. It's 3 people now. It used to be 5, is that right? Is
yes, I think, yep.
They then vote to say whether they think it was an error or not. I think that level of accountability is good, but people then start holding it up as absolute cast iron proof, don't they? See, look at this, we've now got a league table of who's been the most hard done by.
Yeah.
And I thought this was a really interesting week for it, because the KMI panel said that the handball by Dundee United at Easter Road should not have been a penalty. Now, it was never a red card. That was a terrible decision to send him off, and Dundee United won their appeal. But that's a handball to me.
Yeah,
that's a penalty.
But again, it's all it is. I done it a few seasons ago where I was on the panel, and again, it's just opinions. My opinion can be completely different.
You were on the
to yours.
panel?
Yeah, a couple of seasons ago. Yeah, I done it.
Where is your game going?
But again, it's just ex-players, coaches, managers who are on the panel to give an opinion. But again, it's still very subjective.
Because the incidents are subjective. That's the point.
Totally, yeah.
And I feel like we lose a run of ourselves with.
So we do, but then when it gets put out to the press and the media and the public get to see it, you're right, because what they do is they home in on this and they say, oh, by the way, we've been given 5 or 6 decisions against us, and we're hard done by. So yeah, it is a kind of strange way that they do it, but does it work or does it not? I don't really know, to be honest.
Like I said, Gordon, I think most of them went along the lines that people would think. Like, most people don't think it was a Celtic penalty. Most people thought it was a Shankland handball. Most people didn't think it was a foul on the Hearts goalkeeper. But that was the one that just stuck out to me in terms of a reminder to everyone how subjective it is, because there was certainly a debate about the straight red card for Vichko Seve. It was never a straight red, and he was on a yellow anyway. So if you book him for it, he gets sent off.
For me,
but I was quite amazed that genuinely that the panel didn't think that was a handball.
Yeah, listen, as Cammy says there, it's all about opinions. I go back to the Ibrox one. I don't think that the Hearts penalty kick, I disagree with them. I don't think that's a penalty kick. I don't think there's enough contact there for him to get down.
I think Shankland, his involvement in fact, he scored the first goal, but his involvement in the lead up to it, how you can't spot that handball is beyond me.
The biggest one I've got, Hugh, in modern day game is the goalkeeper's got away with murder.
They got away. Standing right next to you. Look at
come on,
they do. No, I totally agree.
On.
I agree. I think they're actually getting a little bit softer. But again, the whole panel thing, nothing. My biggest thing is that there's decisions that are getting wrong. I mean, the Celtic one, going back to that.
Yeah.
Again, John Beaton's going over and looking at the screen. How he can give a penalty then, I just don't know where his head's at.
But again, on the KMI panel, I think it was a 2-1 split.
Wow.
So somebody on the panel think it's just worth reminding ourselves how they're always subjective. Like, we don't need
but the panel, for me, yes, they have their say, but that absolutely does not affect anything to do with the referees.
No, of course not.
So again, my biggest problem is that the decisions that the referee are getting wrong. What actions will he call them actually doing, and punishments are these guys getting? Because some of the decisions recently I think have been horrendous.
I think punishment's the right word, though.
No.
Is that what it is? Is that we are quite thirsty for punishment in Scottish football?
Well, maybe not punishment, maybe that's the wrong word. But again, if you're a player and you make a mistake in the game, you've got a chance of being dropped the next week.
You'd probably need to make repeated mistakes, though, wouldn't you?
But we've not got enough high quality referees to start dropping our top ones.
You can do it, by the way, because it does happen. It just doesn't get publicised. They don't issue a statement to say we've dropped this ref. It does happen.
Yeah, they could probably get a fourth
official role or something.
They sit out a week.
Sit out, right, okay.
Yeah, just on that subject, you've been in the past. Did you get paid for it?
Don't answer him.
Huh?
You don't know who'll be listening.
It was actually free.
You don't know who'll be listening.
Has anybody get the teaser yet?
No, so it's worth.
I've got 3.
I know which 2 you won't have. Let's hear it back, Hugh.
5 men have played for both Aberdeen and Motherwell since 2012. Just 5 men played for both Aberdeen and Motherwell. Who are they?
It is a really, really difficult question, this. I've got huge sympathy for you.
Has anybody got it?
No, nobody has got all 5, so we've got to get the thinking caps on. I might use this opportunity to start helping you out here. So Mary Brogan's thrown a few names in. She wants to go for Mark Reynolds.
Yeah, okay, I'll put that one out.
No, he's not there.
He didn't. He left Motherwell 2011.
Louis
Louis Moult didn't play for Aberdeen. Graham, is it Graham? Yep, I can see what he's thinking with this. Nicky Devlin.
Well, he never made a senior Motherwell appearance.
See, Graham.
Have you got to make an appearance?
Well, yeah.
But you're still in the books of Motherwell. You're still a registered professional footballer.
But the question
I think
said,
it should count.
The question said played.
I don't mean to dig out poor Kyle, but Kyle's sent 5 names and none of them played for both at Motherwell or Aberdeen.
So let's dig out Kyle.
Michael Donati might well be the closest that I've seen.
How many has he got?
Are there a wee sneaky one in there?
There's 2. I told you about 5 times. There's 2 sneaky ones.
As in, he went and loaned from a club to Aberdeen, then went to Motherwell.
Michael Donati says Nicky Devlin. We've now established that's wrong, but other than that,
he was right.
He's pretty there. Chris Geddes won't be far off, but we said the time frame for Mark Reynolds isn't correct. Dominic threw in Scott McDonald.
No. Is one a fullback, Gordon?
Yes.
I think I know who it is.
One of the sneaky ones is a fullback.
Yeah.
The problem you've got, and I'll admit it a bit more, the problem you've got is some of them, so quite a few, 2 or 3 of the 5 have got hardly any appearances at one of the clubs. So you've got a real job in your hand remembering that these guys played for both. You know, as we said, as an example, right, so some of the ones prior, so who miss out due to the time frame, like Mark Reynolds is perfect, played loads for Motherwell, loads for Aberdeen.
I had him down.
He's just not in the right time frame. But the 5 who are all after 2012, very sneaky indeed. I think one person might have it. So at Clyde SSB, we're looking for 5 players who've played for Aberdeen and Motherwell, all since 2012. Lucas Fadinger in that fixture fires one way over the bar. It's kind of quite open. I think both sides, according to Dave Galloway, are giving it a go.
It's lacking a little bit in the forward areas, and that's what we touched on, the firepower of both teams. It's a lively cup tie, but a little bit more excitement around about the 18-yard box is what we're looking for.
The atmosphere which Dave Galloway describes, both in the city and in the ground, you know, they'll be getting a little bit anxious now, nearly half an hour in.
I'll give you a tiny helping hand. David Friel is at Dundee Livingston.
Oh dear.
And he's just said to me, I've been watching insert player name here for half an hour and only just twigged he's one of the teaser answers. Okay.
Dundee Livingston.
Don't you say any more, you'll get yourself in trouble. Clyde 1, Edinburgh City 0. James Hilton with the goal there. Edinburgh City, of course, looking to defy their points deduction. They were making a really good job of it. They are making a good job of it. That'll be a mild blow to them to have Clyde go 1 up.
15-point deduction.
Incredible, but they've nearly caught up.
I think they're -4, are they?
Yeah, they're not far away.
Something like that.
The teams above them very much looking over their shoulder. Motherwell hit the post through Maswanisi, and then Ibrahim Seed blasts over. That's the biggest chance by a mile. It was really good work from Regan Charles Cook. We said Maswanisi's been in fire. He was only a few yards out. He had to kind of rush to get his shot away. I wonder if he still should have done better. He brings it down, takes a lovely touch,
tight angle,
hits the post.
I think he does well.
He's unlucky.
I think he does well. It's a tight angle, Gordon. It's a good touch, but it's just that tight. The goalkeeper,
but he hits the near post though.
But the goalkeeper's out very quickly. I think the follow up, is it Seed? Said? Yeah, I think he should do a lot better.
I think you're right that Mitov, the goalkeeper's right on top of him. He's only a couple of yards away from him. If he gets enough height on it to get it past Mitov and just can't get the direction. It was a massive chance.
Big chance for Motherwell.
When you hit the goal frame, that's a trigger for the home fans. Come on, what's happening here? Get a move on.
Aberdeen had grown a bit into it actually just prior to that, but Motherwell showing quite dangerous attacking intent on that occasion. We did see Maswanisi's been excellent, 7 goals already this season. Of course that is split across the League Cup group stages, but he's been very good in the Premiership already.
He's been terrific. He got used a lot as a sub last year, but he's really grown in confidence. He's settled into this Motherwell side. I think the style of football certainly helps him, and he's a real threat.
Motherwell St Mirren final.
Do you think so? Yeah.
Stephen Robinson, can you imagine? Having taken Motherwell to 2 cup finals in one season a few years ago. Didn't manage to get one over the line. Hugh the Seagulls are soaring high, 2-0 up now against Spurs.
Well, the old Japanese flag will be out, my grandson, in honour of Mitoma.
Is he scored today again?
No, but he takes the flag to all the games.
Wolves 1, Leeds 1. Some goals coming in from down the road. Don't forget to tweet us those teaser answers. Speaking of Twitter and social media, I've come across what I'm hoping could one day be, Gordon Dalziel, your worst nightmare.
My worst nightmare?
I found something. I found an account, and loads of people will have seen it, I'm sure, but this is new to me. I came across it this week. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter account that I think could be your worst nightmare.
Go.
You heard about this guy, Karel Prince?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him?
No.
He's basically made it, you'll love this, Hugh, he's made it his mission to listen to footballer anecdotes on Motherwell have one cleared off the line. To listen to footballer anecdotes on podcasts mainly, but radio shows, whatever, and expose them when they're not true.
I'm in deep trouble if it comes after me.
If I can convince this guy to turn his attentions to Scottish football, because he's only done English football, it seems, so far, I think you're in a world of pain.
Who's he caught? Tell me.
So there's some brilliant ones. So basically, you know the way the market's so saturated now. There's so many podcasts, there's so many radio shows, and it's all about, let me tell you about this. We travelled up there on a Tuesday night. I was just back from injury. I was up against this guy. And so this Karel Prince will go through all the fixtures, all the results, and
team sheets,
all the
everything.
detail, and go, who's that? Who was that you played against that night? I don't think you did, because he wasn't playing. It's excellent.
I've made a living out of that. And this guy could destroy me.
As soon as I saw him, I just thought about you.
I'm the biggest liar that God ever put in life.
Well, we know.
Oh my goodness, I'm exaggerating.
I'd love that.
Oh, Cammy, I'm hoping this guy never comes in.
The only
strong.
thing you might benefit from with some of them is you played so long ago that
maybe
the digital footprint is not quite there,
which is good. So I'll just keep my lies going until I'm caught out.
But it's great. Then there's been some players have gone and nibbled back and
Have
had a ding dong with them.
Oh, brilliant!
I'm sure Carlton Cole did it, pulled them up for pulling him up, sort of thing.
That's it. I'll always bite you. I tell the truth. That's what I used to say when I was young.
So listen, if anyone out there wants to get on board, because there are two that I really want to get to the bottom of with you that we've never managed to find out. Remember, we've done it before in the show.
What one?
Two of your anecdotes. One, that you opened a charity shop with Natalie and Brulia.
100%.
Right,
that isn't even a lie. I couldn't make that one up.
I need that verified. We never got to the bottom of it.
What, mate?
Where at?
At Kirkcaldy.
Why was she there?
To open the shop with me. It's as simple as that down the high street.
The two I've never got is you opening a Kirkcaldy charity shop with Natalie and Brulia, and you previously presenting a football show on Gaelic TV.
That's TV
with Tom Boyd.
That's true, with Tom Boyd. Tom Boyd will verify it.
I don't know. They're the two that I have never been
we
able
had to say good evening in Gaelic.
Don't do it. Do not do it. No, seriously, don't, because you'll offend people.
I know. I offended them at that time when I was on, and I had the script. That was brilliant. I got a lot of good reviews.
Really
I don't know why I'm not still in the STV studios. That's my only surprise.
So they're the two, Natalie and Brulia, and your Gaelic TV presenting debut.
They are both true.
I'm suspicious.
I've got better lies than that.
I'm very, very suspicious.
Talking on the telly, I've got an old pal who's on Strictly Come Dancing tonight.
Who's that?
Ross King. I used to work with Ross here.
Oh,
he is in Strictly, isn't he?
So he is. He's over us in that.
Is that starts back tonight?
Yeah, it starts tonight. Yeah. Ross's biography was called From Knightswood to Hollywood, and that's perfectly true.
You're big Strictly fans, aren't you? You two?
Yeah,
No, I don't watch
you're not.
Strictly.
It's just you.
Yeah.
He's the only guy for Scotland says more work done his face than me.
Why is it so long? That's my real problem with it. Mrs. Duncan's a huge fan. It just lasts all night.
It's terrible.
Just cut it down.
But it's got to get you through the winter, you see. So
it feels like one episode lasts the full winter.
Yeah, well,
I've said before, I don't mind the dancing bit, right? That I can make my peace with. That's talent that's on show, fine. See the bit that genuinely triggers me?
What is it?
See when they all stand around and sort of whip and cheer and jump up and down and
on the stairs
and cheer each other. Oh, that makes my skin crawl.
Tell me, would you go on it if you were invited?
I don't think we'll ever need to worry about that.
No, but would you?
Probably.
Would you go on and can you move the old dancing feet?
But none of them can.
I'd love to.
Oh, I know you would.
I would love to go on that.
You would love it.
Mate, I've got a few moves. I've got a few Elvis and John Travolters. Don't worry about that.
You'd be like the comedy act. You know, there's always one. Is it like who have been the comedy acts over the years where they're clearly only in it to just sort of clawed their way around.
Tony Adams was unbelievable, wasn't he was the worst I've ever seen in my life.
If you get on it, Shirley Ballas would resign before it started.
I can move.
Yeah,
I can get these hips going when I want.
That's plenty on the teaser. And Michael Donati has since rectified his answer, and he's the only one on the podium, which means there is still space. So read it again, Hugh, and I will maybe help with some more clues.
5 men have played for both Aberdeen and Motherwell since 2012. Name them.
Right, what more clues can I give you here? Well, I gave you one already, because one of the hardest ones is playing for Livy today, right? So think loan spells, think short loan spells, maybe look into that. So one of the hard ones is playing at Livy today. Okay? And one of them, I mentioned them earlier because I said I bumped into him this morning. Yes?
Yes.
See, let's see if you've been paying attention. I forgot.
Did he play with Aberdeen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I would never got that.
Yes, he did. Alloa 2, Cove Rangers 0. David Devine with the goal there a few minutes before the break.
If you're a Motherwell fan,
which we all are,
well, you have to be disappointed that Motherwell are not in front in this game.
They've been on top, haven't they?
Best chances.
Brilliant chances. Hit the goal frame, had one cleared off the line. Magnificent clearance.
I need to admit that
it was a great header as well, though.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to admit that because I almost got it wrong. I never thought I cared about the way Motherwell played stylistically. Because let's be honest, it's just never why I went. It's just a thing, and I was kind of happy if they lost and happy if they won. And sad if they lost. And over the piece, have they ever played truly great football that's got me going? Not really. So then all the accusations last year, you know, that the style wasn't good, it never bothered me. However, see now that you see it, you think, this is great.
And do you know what? They're brilliant at it. They're really, really good. They're effective. They've created chances. They're maybe just not getting, we've talked about this before, the results that probably they deserve. Today I think they've been fantastic. The first half they've had the better opportunities. And
because the thing is, Gordon, right, see if this, obviously the hope is that this translates to good results and this translates to a good league finish, but I suppose the way I've now started thinking about it is, see, even if it doesn't, right, let's say in the last few seasons Motherwell have sort of bobbed around at 8th or 9th. See if Motherwell still finish 8th or 9th
playing the football,
but have played this way, then it will be so much more enjoyable.
Well, the proof's here, Gordon. The amount of supporters now turning up at Fir Park, they've got a good travelling support today. They're enjoying it. You just wonder that if the league campaign, they do start slipping down,
they're going to need to win some games, for goodness sake.
Right, are they going to change that style? That's
no way.
You'd think he'll just stick to that all
because
season.
Like we said, unless it becomes,
but it goes back to when Postecoglou was at Tottenham, wasn't it? Everybody was shouting for him to change his style.
But this is the thing that I feel like we all get very into this debate about style. You're seeing Amarim getting it and Russell Martin getting it. See if you feel that the style is what's costing you, then obviously.
Yeah.
But Motherwell could lose games and it won't be their style. Do you know what I mean? So this is a really boring way to look at these things. Somebody's going to finish bottom of the table. Would we all agree?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Does that mean their style was wrong? No, but do you know what? No, there are loads of things that go into it. It doesn't mean that the points Motherwell have dropped.
Would they change formation?
At Tynecastle against Kilmarnock, they've dropped points because the goalie dropped the ball. It's nothing to do with style.
Yep. No, totally. I think they're very good and it's creating opportunities. So that's why I think they just need that kind of break.
As Aberdeen, I thought they had taken the lead.
My goodness,
Aberdeen have rattled
that
the crossbar from close range. Was it Knoster, I think, who's done it from close range? It was a low free kick and actually a good ball. When you put it into the area, you never know where it's going to drop.
He's got to score.
He has to do better.
That is what you call in the game a sitter. That's a sitter.
He's right on the 6-yard line.
Got to score.
It's harder to hit the bar.
Yeah.
He's got to score her. That is an absolute sitter of a miss.
Aberdeen have got their tails up a bit though now, trying to come forward and end the half on a high. Motherwell probably, as we said, had the better of the.
But that's the problem with Motherwell. If you don't score them goals when you're on top and you've got them opportunities, if they don't go in the back of it, you put yourself under a little bit of pressure, because Aberdeen will come into the game at some point and will get opportunities, but Motherwell, it's just they need to start taking them opportunities when they get them.
Did you see extra time, Cammy?
Yes.
There you are. Well,
as we said, it's always going to be that the style can be one thing, but it's always in both boxes. If the goalie keeps dropping it the way he did, you'll be in bother. And I think Stamatolopoulos, there's maybe not quite that finishing touch yet. People were hoping Charles Cook could provide it, but he's playing off a side. We mentioned Callum Hendry earlier on. He's out injured.
Confidence though as well. Once you start scoring, especially at the top end of the pitch, you're forward thinking players. Once you start scoring, you get that confidence, and then it almost becomes habit. So they just need to try and get over the line, make sure their goalkeeper's not making mistakes and gifting goals. If teams score against them, make them work for it. So yeah, they're in a good place. I think they're in a good place at this moment in time under the new manager.
Yeah, I've not been drawing many blanks of late. It's just they scored one in Dundee and probably deserve more, but they only got the one, and then you get pegged back, and you score 3 at Tynecastle. But
yeah,
I've got to say, I'm loving their away strip.
Oh, it's nice, isn't
beautiful.
it?
That would
Sky
look
blue.
great to me.
Well, I think it's perfect for you because obviously Motherwell and Man City, two teams very close to your heart. So
yeah, I will probably need to make a phone call to the chief exec on Monday morning.
Try and get a double XL sent.
No. You're obviously looking at me now, and a lot of good comments coming from colleagues saying how well I'm looking on my diet.
Oh, diet is it now? Okay.
Yeah.
How's the diet going? Good.
Brilliant, mate. That's a stone now.
Oh, excellent.
You can see it in my face. I'm all chiselled now. Then
it's funny all the different types of diets that have come about over the years. Remember the Atkins diet was a big
I
fad, and
hated
they've all got different names, and yours is the Ozempic diet. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Queen's Park scored against Ross County.
Telling you, what did I say? Ross County could be bottom if Airdrie win, was it?
What's happened to them? Because they've got such a good squad. They've now got 2 guys in.
Three,
yeah.
John Robertson's still there.
But he's upstairs, is he not?
With Callum Davidson and Tony Dock. It's an incredibly experienced.
And their team's experience, when you look at the players they've got, I just can't, especially being at home today, you'd expect them to go and turn that around and get a result.
Motherwell are clean through here. Stamatopoulos squares it across. Charles Cook, it's a brilliant save from Mitov, but it's right at him. It is a huge chance for Motherwell. They really should be in front.
Gordon, as a striker, you must be offended by that.
I hate to say this, right? He never looked like he was going to score for me.
No.
I don't know what it was. It's putting a plate to him. The goalkeeper, you'll give credit to the goalkeeper. He's out with a shot. But I think you've got to bury that.
He's got to score. But what Mitov does, he reads the situation, he comes and closes the space, so there's almost a yard between the Motherwell player and the goalkeeper when he hits it, so it's really difficult to get past him.
What does he need to do, Gordon?
Lift composure.
Yeah, I think he's got plenty of time just to dink over a goalkeeper. A bit of composure there. He's got to be disappointed. You don't get chances like that every game. You've got to put them away.
I think the striker's got to see the goalkeeper coming, and as you say, if you see him coming, you just dink it and then it goes past him.
Yeah, because the goalkeeper's only got to do one thing. He's got to come out and spread himself.
Be low. Be low.
So you've got to have the knowledge to say, just put your foot in it, dink it over.
Or at least if you're going to slot it, do it with a bit of conviction. I don't really think he did that, did he?
He didn't look like he believed he could score. I know that sounds stupid in the telly, but he didn't.
Oh, got one of these to tell you about though.
Ashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Dundee 1, Livingston 0. They talk about good times to score just before the break, and it was the man that they said before the game. David Friel told us they need to get him firing. It's Simon Murray. Missed a sitter against Motherwell last week. He has scored just before the break to make it Dundee 1, Motherwell 0. It was Congreve who's been impressive with the low cross. Simple finish. Dundee should take the half-time lead.
Not what the Rangers fans want to hear.
Good point.
Because it would put Rangers further down the league table as they prepare to play Hibs in a cup tie. So we'll see how that goes. But Simon Murray's the man, and Dundee knows he's in front. But Davy Martindale, Livingston, the show is never over till the fat lady says.
I fancied Dundee this afternoon.
Did you?
I said, I went Dundee. I've had a fancy for them. I know Livingston's, listen, it's only half time, but home advantage today. Dundee, a lot of people's favourites for going down. I think they'll be in 11th because I've got a strong feeling that Falkirk may be just a season too much for them. But I fancied them today to get a result.
We're just seeing the chance back for Charles Cook, and I feel bad doing it in any circumstance, particularly when Cammy's here. I think it's a really good save.
It's an excellent
save. The goalkeeper's brilliant. If you're Aberdeen,
what's the technique
manager
called, Cammy? Is it got a name?
It's just the crab spread.
No, but it's the old one now because the knee comes in, and then the other bit of the foot sticks
the other way.
The other way.
Again, back in the day, you just used to spread yourself, didn't you? Make yourself as big as you.
Then it can go through your legs.
No, totally.
So this is a more sophisticated version, isn't it?
Yes, he's closing all the space. But what he does for me, as I said before, he takes that one or two steps towards the ball and closes the space. So it is a fantastic save.
Talking about spreading, how's your training going for the Aberdeen five-a-sides?
It's no started yet.
Well, you're playing the legends, aren't you?
Yeah. I need to get myself back into training.
Yeah, because I think you're doing too much spreading by the looks of your waistline there. I don't like to be cheeky, but I'm just trying to urge you.
I've got a couple of months. I'm back training soon. I need to get back in.
The goalie's a bit.
I need to get back training.
There's a man who I think people had high hopes for, maybe thought he was too good for the Championship. Ross County have equalised through Ronan Hale, so Queen's Park weren't ahead for long. Hugh, let's round off the teaser before the break, or will we just do it at the half-time interval? How many have we got on the podium? Producer Luke, how many have we got on the podium? Still only one? We've got two. Right, we'll read it again. We'll try and get a third person on the podium, and we'll do the awards during the half-time interval. Hugh?
5 men have played for both Aberdeen and Motherwell since 2012. Name them.
Right, you're nearly there. Come on, let's try and squeeze that last one out. It's half-time in Dundee, David Friel.
Yeah, half time, Gordon. A strange old game. Dundee 1, Livy 0. I was about to say Livingston were going to be the happy of the two teams. They had the best chances, and then Simon Murray popped up with his first Premiership goal of the season. We did say before the game Stephen Pressley needed them, and they delivered. It's been a game of few chances. Stephen Martindale sided the best of them up until that Murray goal, but he was in the right place at the right time, as he so often is, and that could be a huge goal for Dundee and Stephen Pressley. Livy, the first attempt, Robin Muirhead, great run down the right, cut in, angle was tight, and John McCracken made the save. Macaulay Tate then had one save by McCracken as well. Lewis Smith created that one with a really good run down the right. Dundee fans getting restless during some of the first half of some of their play, especially when they're passing the balls back. They want the ball forward earlier. To be fair, Cam Congreve on the right, Tony Ugani on the left have both been really lively. The final ball just hasn't always been great. Dundee put some crosses into the box, but Jerome Pryor wasn't really troubled that much. I'd say Presley's players have probably been guilty of snatching at chances. A couple from distance that were never going to go in, miles over the bar, but Congreve did really start to impress, and it was his run and low cross that set up Simon Murray. All he had to do was tap it in, and it gives Dundee something to hang on, and as you say, they could be above Rangers by the end of the day. Half time, Dundee 1, Livy 0.
And the big one in the Cup at 3 o'clock, Aberdeen Motherwell's reached the half time interval as well. Dave Galloway.
Yeah, half-time, Gordon. Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 0. The Dons with the first effort on goal. Aushish's low drive trundling wide. They got another opening with Carlson crossing for Nisbet to glance header, but it was well past the post. Both sides had some really encouraging passages of play with some very decent moves, nice passing football being strung together without seriously threatening Fadinger blasting a loose ball way over for the Steelman, but they almost took the lead when Maswinise rattled the post from a tight angle after good work by Charles Cook. Said could only hit the rebound over. Then O'Donnell saw his header cleared brilliantly off the line. Good acrobatics by Aushish. At the other end, Canuster, how he missed this one, I do not know. He missed a great opening for Aberdeen from just a few yards out. His shot hitting the underside of the bar, plenty power in it, but it smacked off the underside of the bar, came down and clearly did not cross the line, so no VAR review necessary there at all. Then it was the Wells turn to miss a really glaring opportunity, a really good counter-attack. Charles Cook was set up, he was right in front of goal, he simply had to score, but Mitov spread himself quite wonderfully to block. A good first half here at Pittodrie. It's very finely balanced indeed. At the interval though, it's Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 0.
It's not been the worst, Gordon Dale. We've seen a lot of drab 0-0s, but plenty of chances, mostly on the Aberdeen goal, but then Aberdeen have had a huge chance of their own, so it's anybody's cup tie.
Yeah, end to end, good cup tie. Both teams might be a little bit happy getting in at half time because they both had good chances. I said after about 15-20 minutes, the only thing that was missing was a little bit more action round about the 18-yard box. They've certainly stepped up and provided that in the first 45 plus. It could go anyway, couldn't it? First goal is going to be so important. But we've said it from 2 o'clock today. I think a lot of us will not be surprised if this goes into extra time.
I think Motherwell have just had more of the good chances, Cammy. Aberdeen's chances is a glaring one, but it was probably only one, whereas Motherwell have had a couple.
Yeah, no, they've obviously hit the post. The header cleared off the line, which was a fantastic clearance from the Aberdeen player, and then they've had that one where Mitov had the brilliant save. So I think Motherwell have had the slightly better opportunities, but it's been a brilliant cup tie, and as Daz said there, it wouldn't surprise me if this goes all the way.
Our one featured championship game is of course Airdrie Wraith Rovers. Half time there with Fraser.
Hibernians 0, Wraith Rovers 0. You said, Gordon, that the Aberdeen Motherwell game wasn't a drab 0-0. Sadly, this one is. Been a drab 0-0. It's been a short half-time report. Virtually nothing really to report on. Plenty of endeavour from both sets of players, but hardly any action in or even near the penalty box or the goal, and very little in terms of creativity. It was early pressure from Rovers, number of corners, Airdrie struggling to clear the ball just wouldn't fall nicely for a Wraith player. Airdrie did a couple of decent breakaways. Chris Mockery has been actually very good up front for Airdrie, made some space in the box, but his shot was blocked by Hanlon. 18 minutes, Jack Hamilton tested Matty Conley in the Airdrie goal from 25 yards. Keeper could only push the ball out. It didn't make a good meal of it, and then scrambled away by Wilson. That was the first shot on target of the game. 29 minutes, Rovers a bit unlucky to have a goal chopped off. Ross Matthews tackled Charlie Telfer 25 yards out. The ball fell to Jack Hamilton, who scored. The referee Ryan Lee gave a foul against Matthews. It looked like a harsh decision to me, and Rovers fans were off their seats shouting at the referee. Callum Fordyce then headed an Easton corner down. It bounced easily into the arms of Conley before, just in stoppage time, Ewan Henderson had Airdrie's first shot on target, a tame shot straight at ex-Airdrie goalkeeper Josh Ray. I thought beforehand it would be tight, but if a game ever needed a goal of any kind, it's this one. Half-time, Hibernians 0, Wraith Rovers 0.
And we will do a full roundup of the half-time scores as well as the answers to the first half teaser when we return.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time across the country. It's obviously a bit of a disrupted fixture card today, but let's go through the scores at the break then. It's Dundee 1, Livingston 0 in the Scottish Premiership. Of course, in the League Cup quarter-final, Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 0. In the Championship, Airdrie 0, Wraith 0, Arbroath 0, Morton 0, Ross County 1, Queen's Park 1. Into League 1, where it's Alloa 2, Cove Rangers 0, East Fife 1, Montrose 1, Kelty Hearts 0, Hamilton Accies 3, Queen of the South 0, Inverness 1, Stenhousemuir 1, Peterhead 1. In League 2, Clyde 1, Edinburgh City 1, East Kilbride 1, Dumbarton 0, Forfar 1, Annan 0, Spartans 0, Stirling Albion 2, and Stranraer 0, Elgin City 0. Those are the scores on the doors at the moment. Half time across the 3 o'clock games, certainly. We'll take a quick look at the English Premier League, if that floats your boat. We have a full-time result earlier. The Merseyside derby finished Liverpool 2, Everton 1 at the break. Brighton 2, Tottenham 1, Burnley 1, Forest 1, West Ham 0, Crystal Palace 1, and Wolves 1, Leeds 3. Let's round this off, Hugh Keevans, whilst we can.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Five men have played for both Aberdeen and Motherwell since 2012. They are Curtis Main, Declan Gallagher, Callum Hendry, Adam Montgomery, and Stephen Hughes.
Well done if you got them right. Really sneaky, because Callum Hendry, I think, loan spell at Aberdeen, he's only played maybe once for Motherwell. Adam Montgomery, one appearance I'm sure on loan for Motherwell, and then injured playing for Livingston today. So brilliant as always. The standard out there is very, very impressive, and we did have a full podium in the end, maybe with the assistance of some clues, but that's what we're here for. Mark with a C in third place, LSH in second, and Michael Donati eventually got there to take the gold medal and the bragging rights on the first half teaser. We have a second half teaser coming up next, and of course we'll get these games back underway.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Second half's about to get underway, and perhaps more interestingly for some of you, we're about half an hour away from the start of that planned protest outside Ibrox. So what will it look like? What will it sound like? We'll find out in the not too distant future. Dave Galloway, are we underway yet? Yeah, I think we are actually, so we can't go back to Dave Galloway. Aberdeen and Motherwell. Of course, we've got our one league game between Dundee and Livingston, a scoreline I should say, which if it turns into a result sees Rangers drop to 11th in the Scottish Premiership. And we're keeping an eye on the Championship games as well. This one at Pittodrie is so very much in the balance, isn't it, Hugh?
Yeah, both sides regretting chances missed in the first half. I think Motherwell had the better of the first half. I think we're now into that territory where it's a worry for Jimmy Tilleen, because the longer it stays 0-0, the crowd get agitated. Scoring goals is a problem for Aberdeen. They haven't scored any in the league so far this season, and the crowd will be in a state of high anxiety. So it's tight for Jimmy to lead in the second half here.
Yeah, it could go anyway. End-to-end stuff. Both teams, you've got to say, attacking, trying to get that first goal. Probably got to be so important in this cup tie, because it looks tight. It looks like one goal could probably win it. But I'm with the lads. If it keeps up like this and the chances are getting missed, then Dave's in for a long day at Pittodrie with extra time and maybe the excitement of penalty kicks.
It's interesting to see, I think, 60-40 possession in Aberdeen's favour in the first half.
Right.
Motherwell don't tend to be on the receiving end quite like that so much anymore. Which is interesting, because I think on the eye test it felt like Motherwell had a bit more controlled possession.
Yeah, I would have said so. I think when you watch the game and you see it, that again, what Motherwell do is they attack every time. That they're wanting to score a goal every time they've got the ball. They're playing with a purpose as well. So it's not just tippy tappy passing about the back. They play forward. They want to get the ball forward in a certain style. So listen, I enjoy watching them now. I think that their style of play is excellent and the players are absolutely buying into it. But it's been a good game.
Shall we do the second half teaser nice and early, Hugh? Give
Why not?
maximum time to figure this out. Put the jigsaw pieces together, as Gordon Dale likes to say.
Come on, Shug.
The second half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Another big test of you. I have played with Quinton Fortune and Ronan Hale. I have been managed by Tony Mowbray and Alan Johnson. I have won the Scottish League Cup and a league title outside of Scotland. Who am I? Played with Quinton Fortune and Ronan Hale, managed by Tony Mowbray and Alan Johnson, won the League Cup in Scotland and a league title outside of Scotland.
I think that is brutally difficult on one hand, but on the other, you always get it. It doesn't matter how difficult I say it is, you always get it. So at Clyde SSB, I've got a couple of additional clues should we need them as we go along, but you tend to fly in and surprise us all. So at Clyde SSB, get your answers in. It is a race. You need to do it quicker than everyone else, and see if you don't know, just have a guess. See what you've got for us at Clyde SSB. Anything that springs to mind, Gordon Dale?
No, not much information there. I'm a bit disappointed with the second half teaser, if I'm going to be quite honest.
What's the standard of the question?
Yeah, not enough information. Quinton Fortune and Hale, Mowbray and Johnson.
And won the Scottish League Cup and a title outside of Scotland. What more do you want?
A little bit more information, that's what I'm trying to get out of you.
Okay, what, like shoe size, eye colour, star sign?
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Quinton Fortune, there's a name from the past, eh?
Yeah.
We are now eventually back on the way in our featured championship game. It took a while. Richard Chin has come on for Paul McMullen for Wraith. Come on, you keep an eye on all things associated with your former team. Richard Chin, not been many Wraith Rovers players away on international duty recently. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Brilliant. He's a great player. He really
That'll
does.
be the first Malaysian international.
How many
to
times
play
did people shout, "Get your chin up"?
For Wraith Rovers.
How many times did he get that in his career? Come on, get the chin up.
Can't be. Has to be the only one. So yeah, it was away. Made his Malaysia debut on the last international break. He's now come on for Wraith. Fraser Wishart's not happy. You can tell he's not happy. He's given me this. He said kicked off 4:07.
He's just one up the road, isn't he?
He knows this has got the makings of a long after, because he's thinking Nova Championship can't go to extra time. This should be short and sweet.
And Airdrie's not too far away from
and
him.
a way out to entertain this evening, because he's got a bit about him, doesn't he?
Yeah,
well,
that's what I
either
think.
that or Valerie's told him you better be back here by 6 o'clock.
That's probably the real truth. Knowing Wishart.
There's another name. Oh, he is going out tonight, he said. Yep, confirmed.
Is he?
Yeah, he is. There's another name you'll all recognise and remember. Josh Windass has equalised for Wrexham. Stenhousemuir are 2-1 up on Peterhead. So there are goals going in, none in our featured matches. Your man from Thursday night's Beat the Pundit, Emmanuel Longello, he flashed a dangerous cross across the face of goal there, but no takers. So
it's been a good signing.
I think Motherwell have started on the front foot, haven't they?
Or long jelly, as the Dazzler called them earlier.
Yeah, whatever. The left back. I would say I think this game is very hard to call, but the first goal so important here.
Is this where it is, quite sophisticated from Motherwell in a way, Cammy, or how it's very deliberate and the rotations make it hard for players? Because I noticed there Regan Charles-Cook almost dropped in like into the number 6 position to pick up the ball, where he's, in theory, like at the base level, he's playing like wide on the left today. But they all move so much to come and try and get on the ball.
Absolutely.
As he now pops up on the right side.
Yeah, and I think that's what the manager allows the players to do, though, is that little bit of freedom, which makes it difficult for opposition to come up against them and play against them. So I like that. I think allow the players to go and change positions and play with that sort of freedom and what they see on the pitch. And as I said before, they really are good to watch. They're excellent to watch, and they definitely get what the manager's doing. And I think they're improving week in, week out.
These two play each other in the league next week at Fir Park. So
I've got an unhealthy dislike for when that happens.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking Jimmy Tilleen will already be thinking of Fir Park, because he's bottom of the league and he doesn't want to go there and lose again.
Yeah, that's the thing about the cup. It's brilliant, and it can either take pressure off, it can add pressure on, but then it doesn't change your league fortunes. I'm kind of thinking particularly Rangers today as well. Russell Martin needs to win. I don't think he can afford to go out the cup and all that sort of stuff.
No.
But the annoying thing for him is none of this gets fixed overnight. If he wins today, he still has to go back and address a pretty grim league situation next week.
As I say, I think the crowd reaction to a victory, of course you're happy to be in the semi-final draw, but I would think I could guarantee you that the callers tomorrow evening on the programme and on Monday when you come back, Gordon, they'll say it changes nothing, still don't want them.
I know, but is Hanneman back from his holiday this Monday? How long does this guy go away?
Well, if he's getting his hair done, I think it'll be an extra 3 weeks.
Is that what he's away doing?
Probably will be.
Is he?
Yeah, getting his hair done.
What a great rumour that is to start.
I know, brilliant.
He's away getting a hair
Could
transplant.
you imagine being in the clinic and you go, up next is Mr. Han, and he walks in, you're thinking, oh my God, I'm here for a fortnight. Double shift. Look at the size of that's coming in for here.
How long will it be before news of this makes its way to him, wherever he actually is?
Well, David feels texting him now.
I think he's actually in the Canary Islands somewhere.
Oh, is he? What
goodness.
a chance Motherwell have just
my
missed.
God.
Oh, it's offside, is it? He's given offside, yeah, but I'll tell you what, he's glad he's given offside.
Was it Stephen Welsh?
Yeah.
It certainly looked like a big opportunity, but VAR is in operation, so
he is off.
Well, I don't know. I think that's hard to tell.
Tight.
Oh,
I'll
that's
tell
a
you what,
clearance.
that is a good clearance.
That's a centre back in the wrong box. He's facing the. He's cleared it.
Oh my goodness.
That's not ideal. He's delighted the flag's gone up to try and spare his blushes, as the cliche goes. But Motherwell very much enjoying the better start to the second half. I think we'd agree with that. Yes.
Oh yeah. As I say, the Jimmy Tilleen, he's in dangerous territory here.
However, might be in down the left hand side. It's the new boy Carlson, and he's got an overlap as well, and it's just hacked away in the box.
Yeah, a good defending from Welsh, showing a little bit of that experience he's got. That's what he's been brought in for. It's just a ball over the top. Stephen O'Donnell gets caught out a little bit. Good run down the. But he's got to. You look at Nisbet there. If he gets his head up and picks Nisbet out, he's got a tap-in.
Yeah.
He's got an absolute tap-in.
It was good defending, but as you say, if he gets his head up, sees
Nisbet's made a great run for him. And if he finds him, then Motherwell are in all sorts of trouble. As Halliday looks at another manager's back his head. Made a living out of that, hasn't he? Specialist subject, the manager's back his head.
See, to be semi-serious for a second, it does show you how quickly football can change when you've got a new manager.
Played every game last year.
Played every single game. He was a quiz question answer. Played every single game. Was Motherwell's player of the year. But a new manager just comes in and just sees something different and wants to play in a different way and thinks that other players can perform that function differently.
Different style of play. And again, I'm not saying Andy can't do that, because he can absolutely play in that Motherwell team, but again, it's maybe just him looking for a bit more energy in that midfield, somebody younger who can get about the pitch. But I still think, again, what it shows is that Motherwell have got a decent squad, because Andy's certainly a very good sub to have to be able to bring on.
Plus the fact training takes a shape now, so there's a lot of strings to his bow.
On the tactics board.
Oh, the tactics board, everything's out. He'll have done the half-time team talk.
Ibrahim said just received a booking for Motherwell, and I'm not really sure what for, presumably complaining or something, because it all looked very...
They've had a few corners in this, another
off
corner
the
they've
ball.
got. Yep.
How windy does it look? I know it's always windy at Pittodrie, but you do wonder what impact it's having in the game, because I think, Gordon, that's something that only when you're there and you're involved in it you sort of realise just how limiting it can be for you.
There's a chance here. Oh, good block. Motherwell certainly putting the pressure on Aberdeen. Yeah, the conditions up there sometimes you find that in my day when I used to go up there, I hated playing at Pittodrie. The wind and the conditions, and obviously Aberdeen were a real good team in the 80s under Alex Ferguson. It was always a difficult place to go, but I think it suits Motherwell because they play that passing game. They try and keep the ball on the deck.
It is. It's very obviously so close to the sea, Pittodrie, but again the sides are open and the wind comes in them gaps and it makes it difficult. But you're right, Motherwell playing with the ball on the deck, I don't think it'll affect them too much.
Yeah, did you like playing there? I hated it.
I didn't mind it, actually. I didn't mind it.
I hated it. You always got home about 9, 10.
See that though, that does sum you up, because when you ask those questions you're looking for something a bit more in depth than it's far away.
It's far away.
So what, you hate playing anywhere north of Perth, north of Cumbernauld, probably, knowing you.
Yeah. Inverness was, and Dingwall were the two I absolutely hated.
Purely based on distance.
Yes.
Yeah, but you said Aberdeen had a really strong team back then as well.
They were brilliant.
Yeah.
They were really good. McLeish and Miller. Out of all the times I played against them, there's a great chance as well.
Yeah, another big chance for Motherwell.
They're knocking on the door, Gordon. They're knocking.
There are always two ways of spinning it, Hugh.
Yeah.
Is it good? Is it a sign of things to come? Or have you passed up too many?
Exactly. It's either knocking on the door or fate is telling you something, and fate is saying at the moment you're missing too many chances to win this.
And as Aberdeen are going to shuffle the pack as well, it's a deep squad on paper. Aberdeen able to bring on someone like Leighton Clarkson, who I think we all agree has got terrific ability.
Well, they can get you a goal from a set play, that's for sure.
Is it Ante Palaversa the other one? I couldn't quite see. I think it might be who's going to come on. So Jimmy Tillene first to shuffle the pack. It's not something Jens Bertel Askew does too quickly, particularly in the 5 sub era. We're used to teams throwing on subs quite quickly, but hence the lack of game time for Andy. We spoke about earlier, but quite often he'll leave it and he'll leave it and he'll leave it, and then when the 1 or 2 changes comes.
But again, I don't think he needs to change at the moment. I think they're doing very well, and that's why Aberdeen have obviously...
They look the better side, and Aberdeen have made the substitution because of that.
Because again,
it's a treble.
Nicky Devlin is going to come on as well. So Keskinen is going to go off. Graham Shinnie and Stuart Armstrong going to come off. So
certainly taking a bit of experience off the pitch.
But they've been quite ineffective, if we're being honest.
You need a bit of the freshness. I think that the manager recognises, like, we're all looking at the game thinking, if Andy's got to score just now, you'd be betting on Motherwell to get the first goal. So I think that's good management, good tactics. Get a bit of freshness on there, bit of legs, and see if you can turn this around.
Motherwell fans are getting wound up for sacked in the morning. You're getting sacked in the morning for Jimmy Tillene.
How long can he go, Hugh? I know he lives off the Scottish Cup final, but can you keep living off that if you're not winning games at Pittodrie?
No, I take Dave Galloway's word for it that the city is now divided, and a cup defeat would take the percentage up higher in favour of dispensing with Jimmy Tillene.
Still plenty of football to be played today though, and we're still level, so let's pause and return to that if he does indeed lose it, because Aberdeen are on a nice attack here, having made those substitutions, and it is one of them, Leighton Clarkson, trying and it's lovely footwork, and he dances his way and lays it off, and another Palaversa, but it goes wide.
There's a wee goal against your mate's team, Arbroath, 1-0 up against Morton.
That's a big result. There's another place I hate it going.
It's windy there.
That is the worst.
Great start to the season for Arbroath, and then losing convincingly last week.
5-0, wasn't it?
Trying to get back in about it. There's a name from the not too distant past, Todd Cantwell, remember him? Scoring a penalty to put Blackburn 1 up against Ipswich.
Do we have an eyewitness at Ibrox at the front door?
Andrew McLean is poised and ready, like any good war reporter would be. Don't know if he's got his tin hat on.
He is our Kate Adie today, is he?
But he's going to keep an eye on things and let us know what's happening. It was quiet last I heard from him, but that was a while ago. I don't know what I've never taken part in many protests. I don't know what the rules on punctuality are. Do you just come exactly at 5:30?
Well,
do you make your
or do
way
you
there
turn
10
up
minutes
early?
early?
Get to the front.
I don't know how it works.
For the protesters, there's a certain emphasis on them turning up in good number, because people will say, well, that's not much of a protest, is it?
It's a bit livelier now. I'm going to go to Andrew in a couple of minutes just to double check. In fact, are you there just now, Andrew? What's the 10-minute warning looking like?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not really a 10-minute warning. It's already started. Don't know if you can hear it behind me, but there are, hundreds, if not into the, over 1,000 Rangers fans that have gathered outside the front door at 15:15. The posters were being handed out that have the face of Russell Martin and Patrick Stewart on them. It's got, the red circle with a cross. And there are songs now being chanted, at the front doors of Ibrox by all the supporters that are gathered round. They want Russell Martin out of the club. They want Patrick Stewart out of the club, and that is the chants that are being directed. And of course, it is an interesting day because Andrew Kavanagh is here as well. Of course, has put so much money into the club this summer. Maybe hasn't experienced this firsthand, the anger that there is, the negativity there is from these Rangers supporters. So you do wonder, will that potentially change his mind at all if he's now experiencing this firsthand? Because he can't not see this. There are a huge number of Rangers fans that are now gathered outside here, that are making themselves heard, they're making themselves known. The Union Bears, as you'd expect, are sort of front and centre of it all. They were the ones that were handing out the posters, and they are the ones that are quite near the front of those main doors at Ibrox. So yeah, this will only continue to build, and it will only continue to get a bit more livelier as well, because Rangers fans will continue to arrive. Some won't even be here yet, and you wonder how many of these Rangers fans will actually make their way into the stadium as well, whether some of them are just here for the protest and they'll continue that protest by maybe just getting in their cars and going home. What will the crowd be like at this game, or will some go inside to continue that protest, I should say, inside the stadium? Just to go on to the minutes of that meeting between the Fan Advisory Board and Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell, the minutes of that meeting came out last night, and it did make you wonder whether the strength of support inside Ibrox would be enough to see Russell Martin keep his job and be comfortable in his job if it continues to go badly and Rangers get knocked out of the cup tonight. The quote certainly in the minutes of the meeting from Patrick Stewart, they talk about that he emphasised that while results were disappointing, the club felt that it was important to avoid making reactive change. He reiterated the desire to avoid short-term reactive cycles of change, pointing out that Rangers have gone through multiple coaches in recent years without resolving underlying issues. So maybe Patrick Stewart, maybe Andrew Kavanagh, Parag Marat as well, maybe they are in it for the long haul. Maybe they will resist the urge or the temptation to get rid of Russell Martin, despite the fact that there are hundreds, if not well over 1,000 Rangers supporters that are out here calling for change.
Well, we'll keep revisiting Andrew McLean. I think you could hear a bit of it. Obviously, apologies if anyone is offended by the background language. Clearly going to be a very difficult balance to strike when angry football fans are gathering outside Ibrox.
Well, as Andrew rightly says,
Hugh, just quickly, just in the interest of time, let's do this.
Course.
I know it's hugely important, but we missed this.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Motherwell's pressure has paid off. It's Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 1, and it is a stunner from Regan Charles Cook. It was rolled back to him from Emmanuel Longello about 22 yards out. He just cut across it on his right foot. It hit the post and into the top corner. It is a brilliant strike from Motherwell. They probably deserve the lead, and they have it.
I think they deserve it, more than deserve it. The second half has belonged to them almost exclusively. And it, as you rightly say, was a fantastic goal from Regan Charles Cook.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Dundee 2, Livingston 0. It's Wesley with the tap in. It was a great move, squared across. He scores with the simple finish. It is a result which does wonders for Dundee and probably puts Rangers down to 11th, because they of course are in cup action today. So Dundee heading for all 3 points, and fair play, because written off by many, but showing signs of life in the Premiership.
Well, all of a sudden the pressure cranks up, pressure already outside Ibrox, and the demonstration is getting larger. And as Andrew said, we're not even at 4:30 yet when it was supposed to start. We're still 7 minutes away from 4:30. Pressure mounting at Ibrox. Pressure mounting also because Dundee, should they hold on to this scoreline, will go above Rangers in the table, with the last thing that Russell Martin needs. And pressure mounting on Jimmy Tilleen as well, because Motherwell are, if not in cruise control, they are looking very comfortable against Aberdeen, and they've got a goal of a start. The Aberdeen crowd cannot be happy with what they're watching.
That'll be a big win for Dundee. A massive win today if they can manage to hold on to that 2-goal lead. And again, what it does, you're right, it ramps up pressure on Rangers and the frustration from the fans when they see they're sitting 11th in the league table. But also Aberdeen, I know they're getting beat here. If they end up losing this League Cup tie, and then they play Motherwell away next weekend and they're sitting bottom, the gap's getting bigger. So again, they need to look at their situation and rectify it pretty quickly.
Probably need to have words with the Livingston defensive coordinator, wherever he may be.
Yeah, we could get him in here full time shortly, the way things are going for him.
I understand why Jimmy Tilleen took off the likes of Stuart Armstrong, Graham Shinney, but as we agreed at the time, it's a lot of experience getting out of the side, and you would need experience right now. The
only thing I would say, if you're Aberdeen, Hugh, is Motherwell have got a knack of taking the lead and then throwing it away. So
if this comes to anything, Motherwell will be furious, because it was quite clearly a Motherwell throw that went the other way. We obviously had an example of that at Rugby Park last week, but anyway, comes to nothing. It's squandered into the arms of the goalkeeper. Motherwell still sticking to their guns, passing it about inside their own box with 4 Aberdeen players hunting them down. And is that going to be a no handball? No handball, says John Beaton.
No handball
on the halfway line. Someone's just sent me a brilliant, producer Jay's dug it out here, a brilliant picture of you. I'd love to know the backstory here. So he said, like, this is Andrew outside Ibrox right now, but it's a picture of you. You've got like a high-vis vest on, you've got your finger to your ear like you're in the FBI, you've got the microphone in hand. Facially, you actually look exactly the same. So I don't know how long ago this was, but I suspect it might have been. Bringing back any memories?
No, it doesn't.
Cracker.
But, why would I be wearing a high-vis jacket? Oh, is that an SFA jacket?
It looks like it, yes.
Your trackside somewhere, Hampden maybe. No.
Is that you, Hugh?
Yeah. What do you mean, is that him? Are you serious?
Maybe a Photoshop.
Look at his face.
You know what I mean? Somebody could have just put
it's him.
his mug on a body. I've seen that many a time.
Yeah, it's maybe a Scotland game actually. Yeah, do you know what?
Scotland.
I'm thinking that's the kind of the tunnel doors at Hampden behind you.
Yeah. But sometimes it might have been a domestic match, but they made you wear.
Yeah, just because it was at Hampden, a cup final or something.
I remember,
just in case you get lost.
I remember.
Here you go. We've got the answer for you. No, it is in 2009, Scotland against Macedonia at Hampden.
Wow.
Apparently.
So I remember standing with Gordon Strachan in that area when he was Celtic manager, and my press pass blew away, and he said, "Oh, good."
That does sound about right. Right, let's revisit that teaser, because we've actually not done it yet, I don't think. But just to clear up quickly, I knew it would happen. People have got this.
Have they?
Wow.
How impressive are our listeners?
Well, the clues are: I played with Quinton Fortune and Ronan Hale, been managed by Tony Mowbray and Alan Johnson, won the League Cup in Scotland and a league title outside of Scotland.
Right, I've got it.
Chris thinks it's Greg Stewart.
No, it's not.
Scott Connie thinks it's Michael Stewart.
No.
Mick thinks it's Liam Boyce.
Think again.
Kenny thinks it's David Healy.
And the Dazzlers got it.
It's not David Healy, no.
Not David Healy.
No. How impressive.
I understand why David Healy would get a mention because of a title outside of Scotland, but.
And Greg's Gardens would like to suggest Lee Miller.
No.
Okay.
To put the jigsaw together, it's just the way you do it. Corners first and then work your way in.
Excellent.
And you'll eventually get it.
Yep.
Motherwell are, they're having a right good day. 20 minutes to go, but they're very careless in places.
They tend to do this. Aberdeen will put a little bit of pressure on them. They've got to throw bodies forward. I fancy Motherwell in the counter attack. I think they've got the players to do it.
If they score a second, it's all over.
We said it earlier, Cammy, about the style. I just don't know if there is an alternative. Like, if you're going to play this way and it's this good, and it is really good, then of course you might give it away. Sometimes that doesn't mean that it's wrong, because what's the alternative then? You lump it up the pitch all day long, and nobody counts the number of times that you give the ball back to Aberdeen. But because you might give it away in a certain area, everyone gets all high and mighty about it and thinks that the full style needs ripped up.
No, listen, I watch Motherwell as well, though, and I see Ward, the goalkeeper, kicking it long at times, and that's absolutely fine. So I think that they're not just stuck at they have to play out. Again, you're right, Gordon, that they will give the ball away. Of course they will, because of the style of play, the amount of passes they want to get in. But as I said, I think they're getting better and better at it. And this would be a huge result if they manage to hold on to this.
It's an interesting substitution, because Dave Galloway could confirm, but my impression when I hear Aberdeen fans and listen to them, the one player that they feel deserves more game time than he gets is Dante Polvara.
Yep.
You saw him come on and was it in the European game and was excellent. He's just come on here 72 minutes, so he either makes the impression that Jimmy Tillene's looking for, which is a good thing, but perhaps it can also highlight the Aberdeen fans who wanted him on from the start or tend to want him to get a bit more game time. But anyway, he's come on. I think that is Aberdeen up to their 5 changes. Would that be right?
Yeah, 3 and 2.
So they're clearly not happy with what they're seeing, and it is now or never for Jimmy Tillene. About 20 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I ask you two as Motherwell fans, I think this guy has got Motherwell playing the best football since Stephen Robinson, and that season where Stephen Robinson went to Hampden twice.
Oh no, this is much better football.
Yeah,
it's just different style. Because I loved that. You know, that was a bit more up and at them, and they were a lively Motherwell team.
Yeah,
the ones that got to the. But in terms of like on the eye and like technical, this is the best I've ever seen Motherwell play.
Yeah,
I would say.
You would pay to watch this.
Well, you wouldn't.
Yeah, that's correct.
I mean, that was great in a different way. You know, they were up and at teams and they blew teams away and they got to 2 cup finals. So you would rather that than a team that doesn't get results. So there's no right or wrong.
We can sit here and applaud just how well Motherwell are playing, but for Aberdeen, it's now getting to desperation time.
The only thing you would say, I don't think an Aberdeen equaliser looks out of the question, Gordon. It never is with this Motherwell team. They're at home. They've made changes. That they're going to give this a go, you would imagine.
Oh well, they'll need to give it a go. If they don't, then they're out the cup. It's as simple as that. They can't just sit there and think, right, okay, we're only 1 down. You've got about 20 minutes after VAR puts the clock up there, so you've got plenty of time still to get back in it. But I've just got a little sneaky that Motherwell could get them on the counter attack.
Do you think Alan Burrows celebrated the Motherwell goal?
Yeah, his long sleeves slapping them together.
Hold on.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Game on. Clark Robertson has put into his own net, which means it's Dundee 2, Livingston 1. It was Finlayson's cross. Clark Robertson scored it at the wrong end, and maybe all that stuff about the league table and a great win for Dundee, maybe we've gone too early. 2-1.
Well, Livingston the show is never over until the curtain comes down and they're bang in it again.
We've seen it before. Kilmarnock, first game of the season, 2-0 down, managed to get a draw from the game, so they've got a history of coming back, and we all know that David Martindale's teams never give up. So yeah, it'll be an interesting 20 minutes left in that game as well.
Free kick to Motherwell down in their own corner, getting a bit frustrated, the locals. Let's go back to Ibrox. It's 4:32. We have now passed the official start time of the protest. What's it looking and sounding like, Andrew McLean?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are certainly more people than there were last time you came to me. There is thousands of Rangers fans here outside Ibrox at the moment, and the chants are just sort of coming and going. Sometimes it's really loud, and there are other times there's a bit of a lull. It's not really ill-tempered. These supporters just want to make their voices heard. They want those inside Ibrox to know exactly how they feel. Many of them holding up those posters, as I said, that have the faces of Russell Martin and Patrick Stewart on them, with the red circle and the cross through them as well. They want the Rangers staff inside. They want Andrew Kavanagh to know that they are not happy with what's going on at the club at the moment, whether that is the recruitment policy, whether that is the results, the performances on the pitch. Just 3 wins in 12 competitive matches this season. They're not happy with the style of play, what Russell Martin is bringing to this team, and they're not happy with the leadership of Chief Executive Patrick Stewart either. So as I said, those posters are being held up high above the heads of those Rangers supporters. As you're looking at the main stand and that brickwork, the supporters go sort of all the way from the the front of the main stand all the way to the gates at the back where that sort of recreational football pitch is, and it's very wide as well. So many different demographics of people here, young and old, men and women, all voicing their opinion. So you wonder what effect this will have. As I said earlier on, you wonder how many will actually go inside Ibrox and support the team, or make their voices heard inside the stadium after this as well. But yeah, it's certainly building up, and I think it will continue for quite a while as well. Also juggling a few things as well, there is a football match that is happening here at Ibrox today as well, and I may as well bring you the team news while I'm here as well. From outside Ibrox for Rangers, it is Jack Butland that starts in goal. The back four, James Tavernier, Derek Cornelius, John Souttar and Jayden Magoma. The midfield three, and this is the big one, Nico Raskin straight back in to the starting lineup. Not only is he in the squad, but he is in the starting lineup alongside in midfield Mohamed Diamande and Tello Asgard, Mikey Moore and JD Gassama either side of Bojan Miovski, who leads the line. The substitutes: Kelly, Aarons, Barron, Charmiti, Bayrami, Antman, Giga, Curtis and Danilo. I will bring you the Hibs team shortly, but for now these Rangers fans are not moving anywhere. They're standing outside Ibrox and they want the powers at be to know exactly what they think of Russell Martin and Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, take aim at Martin and Stewart, said the banner outside the ground. You can hear some of the chants. The team news is interesting as well. Let's do, right, Hugh, you're the man for the big picture, you're the man for the politics. What do you make of this then? Thousands of Rangers fans, says Andrew McLean, pretty much filling Edmiston Drive in front of the stadium, voicing their displeasure.
And that tells me that the win or lose, the fans will leave Ibrox tonight still convinced that Russell Martin is not the man, and that they have trained their sights on Patrick Stewart because he was complicit in bringing Russell Martin to Ibrox. So it's a sizable, highly visible demonstration, and it speaks to the disgust that the Rangers fans feel. And this is five league games into a 38 game season. Raskin is there again for political reasons, because if you don't play him, they chant his name. If you do play him, you have a better chance of winning. And also, if you don't win and he doesn't play particularly well, then you can say, well, I put him in. It doesn't automatically mean that Rangers win if he plays. So it's a day fraught with tension at Ibrox, and that tension will only rise as the clock ticks on.
It's not just a big day for Russell Martin. I think it's a big day for characters in the pitch, because if the fans go inside, they're still going to protest. You've got to put that to the side and think, I've got a cup tie here. You've got to be brave in the ball. Now the manager's already come out and said, you know, there's a few nervy players just now playing in front of the home crowd. It's not going to be a great atmosphere tonight. So the players have got a big responsibility to handle that.
Big headline obviously from the team is the return of Nicholas Raskin. Not only is he in the squad, he is in the starting 11, Cammy. The Rangers fans want this. Up to him now, I suppose, to go and put in a performance.
Yeah, listen, and he'll be desperate to get on that pitch and put everything that's happened behind him, and he'll want to play well for the club. I know that he's very fond of the club and loves the club, so he'll want to do well for himself and the club. But I think it is the right decision playing him, getting him straight in the starting lineup. For me, he's the best midfielder they've got. But also that negativity of chanting his name if he's on the bench, I just feel there's going to be enough negativity, as Daz says, in the stadium. It's massive for the players that they do kind of put all this noise to the side and try and get through this cup tie. It's huge, and it's going to be difficult, because last week the manager came out and said the players were scared going onto the pitch. Listen, nothing's got better this week. It's actually probably got worse. So again, they've got to have big brave shoulders and go and try and put a performance on and get a win against the good Hibs side.
I totally agree. I think it's massive for him.
Are you surprised that Mikey Moore keeps his place? Mikey Moore had a really, really tough afternoon against Hearts, had to be taken off at half time, and was replaced by Antman, who was quite good and then raised Rangers level in the second half. But Mikey Moore starts this one.
Yeah, he must have showed up well in training, or he was first up the hill, whatever it may be. Look, he's a young lad. Spurs think he's got a fantastic future, but it's okay coming up with a reputation. You have got to start producing, and that's what I'm saying. He's 18? 17. He's got to handle the pressure. It's okay playing with Tottenham and coming on and whatever, but if you come up to play with Rangers, especially with the situation with the manager, You've got to start
18,
producing
sorry,
the goods.
18.
Yeah.
He's never experienced anything like the protests that he's seen before the game and hearing, and the frustration from the Rangers fans, all this. He'll never experience that down at Tottenham. I know Tottenham are a big team, but he certainly won't have seen any of this.
There is a school of thought that no matter how good you are, Rangers, or Celtic for that matter, but Rangers, and particularly in their current state, is not a learning ground for a talented English Premier League youngster. I've heard it said, whether that's accurate. And listen, Mikey Moore might be fantastic today and rip this up, but just I think of all the people who came on and made an impact and replaced someone who had a particularly bad day. I think Oliver Antman would be feeling a bit hard done by not starting the game.
Yeah, but you look back to his debut, I thought every Rangers fan was thinking, we've got a real find here. He seems to be, second choice now for a wide area. So it's a big day for him.
I would love to hear directly in public from Andrew Kavanagh.
Yeah.
To hear what he thinks of all of this. He witnessed something that was unpleasant for Rangers when there was a fans walkout, but he didn't own the club at that point. Now they're outside the door, and in their thousands outside the door.
Do you think someone at Ibrox, because he'll know the place now, but maybe not that well? Do you think someone's just making sure he's having a cup of tea in a back room somewhere? Maybe checking out one of the hospitality suites on the opposite stand?
I would have to think that Andrew Kavanagh is here to exercise authority.
Oh, Livy penalty. All your stuff, all the drama at the league table. Morton have equalised away to Arbroath with 10 minutes to go as well. Bokila, the experienced goal getter, is going to take. Can he level it for Livy?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And they might even go on and win it because they've got time. 2-0 down Livy. We were looking at a very important win for Dundee, one which would have made the league table look terrible for Rangers, and now it's 2-2.
An own goal and a penalty. So Livy do it by whatever means are necessary. And as you rightly say, they could go on and win the thing now. I can imagine what Stephen Presley's getting from the Dundee crowd.
Cranks up a little bit of pressure on him.
Yeah.
2-0, you're thinking, right, okay, that's a good result for them. 3 points at home would take a little bit of pressure off them. All of a sudden they could lose us.
Jeremy Bokila might make it into one of our teasers. Did you not do the oldest goal scorers the other day?
And he's the youngest?
No, he's nearly 37.
Ooh.
He's scored today, so I know he did score earlier in the season, but that's, you don't need me to tell you he's now older than he was then. That's kind of how it works. So speaking of which, we missed your birthday on Thursday, Cammy Bell.
Yeah, you sent me a little message.
The big one?
No, 39. Just 39. Next year's a big one, Daz. So start saving.
Anyway.
Yeah, happy late birthday. I hope you enjoyed down in Manchester, where I joined many a year down there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember being 39.
You don't what?
I don't remember being 39.
Motherwell have missed a golden chance to wrap it up, as is quite often the case. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos puts himself about brilliantly, but maybe just doesn't get the goal tally that Motherwell could be doing with it. Is a real good chance to just wrap it up, and he gets it all wrong, heads it wide, and that'll give Aberdeen a bit of belief that they can still get something.
Is that the usual for a striker, one eye in the goalkeeper? Watching him come out there, because he gets that all wrong.
He does.
He's got a great chance. All he has to do is just flick it with his head over the goalkeeper.
Motherwell have
game,
had
set, match.
Some chances in this game, some brilliant opportunities to. I mean, they should be out of sight, to be honest.
If they're not in the draw tomorrow, Cammy, it's their own fault.
So many chances, and especially that one, just to wrap it up, put it beyond all doubt.
But this is a big test for Motherwell, because again, we know they've struggled to keep the clean sheets and see games through to make sure they get the victory. So it's a big 10 minutes for them, and again, it's a massive statement if they can get into that semi-finals. And then they face Aberdeen next week, which we spoke about
bad news
before.
for you, Hugh. The Seagulls, their wings have been clipped.
Yeah.
It's 2-2 now against Spurs.
Thomas Frank, great manager. But anyway, if Aberdeen, but Jimmy Talleen time now, they've got to get in about it. But if I was an Aberdeen fan, I would say, of course Motherwell have missed so many chances, but how easy is it to get chances against Aberdeen?
Fair point, Hugh. They're certainly not got off to a good start. They've made 5 substitutions already, and it doesn't seem to be paying off.
I mean, they still look a threat. They're obviously pressing for the goal, which is natural, and Motherwell sitting a little bit deeper.
Yeah, but they've not really asked a lot of questions of Ward.
No,
if you've got to be honest here, and especially at home, you'd be expecting a little bit more urgency if I was an Aberdeen fan.
Is there VAR here? At
Yes.
this game?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh well, 10 minutes would be added on then.
It's not had to do anything yet though, so the existence of VAR doesn't add time on it. It's when it has to get involved in stuff. There's Stamatopoulos. He's working his way in. You just wonder if that chance will come back to haunt him. We'll be hoping not. Something else I wanted to pick up on from the Rangers team, Hugh. Maybe this is one for Cammy with the Goalkeepers Union, one for you with your journalist's hat on. Liam Kelly did the press yesterday.
Yeah.
Now let me be clear, the days are gone. Just because you do the press doesn't mean you're going to play. I've seen loads of times when player gets put up for the press, doesn't start the next day. However, not usually the reserve goalie. I kind of thought the fact that he was there meant that he was going to be the cup goalkeeper, because you know teams do that, and they play someone else in the cup. So the fact that he's not playing today tells you he was sent out there as a bit of a shield, really. He was sent out to do the firefighting job, sent out and be the spokesman, which by the way I thought he did brilliantly. So he spoke so well at the press conference yesterday, because it's not easy. But yeah, I've never really seen a club have to sort of use the sub goalie in that way before.
Well, they rolled out Tavernier as they normally do.
He's the captain, that makes
when
sense.
they lose a big game, and they lost to Hearts, so they rolled out James Tavernier. Russell Martin's had his press conference, and his press conferences don't go down well. The journalists love it, but the fans don't. So I think if you're Rangers media, you say, right, we need to hand pick someone who won't go in there and say something silly, and someone who is fully conversant with the language. I mean, you might
Aberdeen hit the bar. That is extremely close. The bottom of the barn, and it actually looked like it was going to go in, and then it didn't. But Callum Ward comes and holds this time.
So I think that's why Liam Kelly was there. He was there not to be a safe pair of hands, but a safe mouth.
It's fair play to him though, Cammy, because
absolutely
it's a bit of a sore one. If you know you're, especially like I say, because it's the goalie, there's only one opportunity there. You know you're not playing, and it's going to do us a favour and go and answer questions about Loch Lomond and Connacht Hill.
Yeah, listen, when I seen it first yesterday, I just expected Liam would be playing today, and he was going to make the change, and obviously cup game play Liam in goals, but obviously the team's out, Jack Butland's playing, so yes, I think they probably have looked at Liam. Is very good at speaking. I think he's got that experience. He understands the club. He came through there as a youth player, so I think it was probably a wise choice from the club. Again, there was always going to be them difficult questions that he was going to have to face about Loch Lomond and the trip and the day off or whatever it was, and the poor results. And for me, he did really well. But again, it'll probably be a little bit frustrating for Liam that he has to go and do that, because he wants to play football, and I think everyone then looks at it, and as I say, I looked at it certainly yesterday and thought he would be playing today, so it's a strange one.
But you play your role in more ways than one, on and off the park.
Like I say, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I just found it unusual. You've not seen it before with the sub goalkeeper.
I think I can guarantee you that he was deliberately handpicked.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Well, he must be, because you don't put the sub goalie up generally unless there's a reason.
And you're looking through the squad, and you know there are plenty of players there for whom English is not their first language, and they've never been in this kind of situation where you're supposed to explain away an entire culture.
Because to be fair, Gordon, we were all having the discussion in the press room yesterday, saying if Liam Kelly's doing the press, does that mean he's going to play tomorrow? And yeah, we've seen it before where it's not automatic, but we did wonder if when you're under pressure like Russell Martin is, I know teams have cup goalies, but was he going to change his goalie under these circumstances?
Absolutely no chance.
When Jack Butland's playing well?
No, absolutely no chance. Jack Butland's started the season well, although that Rangers conceded a lot of goals, but I think they'd have conceded more if it wasn't for the fact that Butland in the forum. It was a strange one. Maybe, as you guys said there, he knows the club. He was handpicked to go and do it. He speaks very well. So just to mix up a little bit. He's certainly not shy mixing things up this week, Russell Martin.
East Kilbride 1, Dumbarton 1. That'll be a blow to Mick Kennedy's side as they look to try and win that division. I think they've set their stall out quite early. Still going fairly well, but a home draw there, maybe a bit disappointing. Kelty 0, Hamilton Accies 4. I actually thought that could have got worse because they were 3-0 down and a man down very early on. So full-time whistles are starting to go, and Aberdeen are very much looking
throwing everything at it.
Yeah.
How's that chance?
4 minutes
Missed
added
the
on
ball.
at Pittodrie. 4 added. We've played one of those. Aberdeen really going for it now. They hit the bar a moment or two ago. Motherwell made defensive changes to try and shore things up. Kofi Balmer came on, Johnny Katrumbis came on, Stephen Welsh was amongst those who went off, and that's good composure from the Motherwell backline just to allow the ball to roll all the way through to Callum Ward.
Good communication from the goalie there. He's actually, Callum Ward, for a game we touched on some criticism for goals that he's conceded. I think he's done really well. He's took a couple of excellent crosses under pressure in his last 10 minutes.
He missed one there.
He did. He got away with one.
It was old goalkeepers away shout, wasn't it?
Yeah, but again, he's obviously got confidence because he's coming for a lot of balls that are coming into the box, and that's what his defenders will absolutely want in this next 2 or 3
I
minutes.
agree, but he worries me at times, Ward, I've got to say. I think there's always a mistake in him.
Well, as things stand, Regan Charles-Cook's goal will send Motherwell through, but that could all change in the next 2 minutes. There are a minimum of 2 minutes added on, and I think Jimmy Tilleen will feel the wrath of the Aberdeen fans, because it's been a poor league start, which is one thing, but when you then have the tangible sign of failure when you go out of a knockout competition, it's all very, very final, very confirmed, as various teams will find out this weekend.
Well, if you're bottom of the league and out of the first cup competition, the pressure has to mount on Jimmy Tilleen, because he's had half a season basically. He made a terrific start to last season and a horrible end, and now this one has started in horrific fashion. So he's got a minute to hang on.
And also it's a long walk from the dugout to the tunnel. Half the pitch in Aberdeen fans. It's a long walk.
He might just have missed his chance. It was a bit desperate from Polvara. He's at an angle, onto his left foot, takes a swing at it, goes miles over. I know it's late in the day, but he probably didn't think Marcus Rashford had to be that type of finish from the other night to hit the back of the net, and let's just say it wasn't.
I think you're right, desperation.
Dundee penalty.
Wow.
2-0 up, score an own goal, give away a penalty, pegged back to 2 each, and now have the chance, a penalty of their own right at the death to win it. Riley goes down. What
Simon Murray on the pitch.
What an afternoon this has been already, and there still could be room for even more drama. I think Simon Murray is still on, but I'd have to double check that for you. This is incredible. What a day. I didn't have it down as being a blockbuster day, Hugh, at Dens Park, but there we go.
Well, the first half I was asking for evidence.
Full time at Pittodrie. Dave Galloway.
Yeah, full time, Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 1, and boos ringing round the ground at the blast of John Beaton's whistle. Once this game got going, it was a good first half with big chances spurned at both ends. Motherwell almost took the lead, and Maswineze rattled the post from a tight angle after Charles Cook set him up. Said hit the rebound over. Aushish made a brilliant goal line clearance to keep out a header from O'Donnell. We believed at first, although it appears it may actually have been Stamatolopoulos. I haven't seen any replays though to verify that, but Canuster at the other end missed a great opening for Aberdeen from a few yards out. It was only about 6 yards out. His shot smacking off the underside of the bar, coming back down, but no VAR review necessary. The ball most certainly did not cross the line. Then it was the Wells chance to have a really glaring miss. Stamatolopoulos burst through unselfishly, squared it for Charles Cook, who simply had to score, but Mitov spread himself wonderfully to block the danger. Motherwell looked the likelier side into the second half. Aberdeen made a triple substitution to try and rectify things, but the visitors went ahead on 63 minutes with a quite magnificent goal. Charles Cook showed great technique on the edge of the box, scoring with a shot with the outside of his foot, the ball going in off the post. The home crowd started getting on the players' backs over square passes and misplaced passes. The second half, with truth being told, that not hitting the heights of the first, but Motherwell looking comfortable, Aberdeen not posing nearly enough danger despite having a lot of the ball. And Stamatolopoulos really should have done better for the visitors when he tamely headed Maswinize's cross well wide of target. The Dons did come very close indeed to equalising late on when Carlson's corner from the right hand side was headed off the bar by Devlin. It was far too little, too late from them, though, it has to be said. You can hear the crowd in the background. They are far from happy. Pressure undoubtedly is building. Jimmy Tillene's side, not only bottom of the league, they're now out of the League Cup. Is it going to get better? Who knows, but pressure is certainly building on the manager. Just listen to the boos from the crowd here. It finished Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 1.
Oh, the natives are restless at Pittodrie. Feel free to give us a call, Aberdeen fans. Such high drama in the game at Dens. The penalty was given, VAR checked it, the ref went to the monitor, but it remained a penalty.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And Callum Jones has scored it. Dundee 3, Livy 2, right at the death. A vital 3 points for Dundee. A crushing blow for Livingston. 97 minutes on the clock, Hugh Keevins.
It's a sideshow, but if you're a Rangers fan, you're thinking, well, second bottom now going into this game. As I say, it's a bit of a sideshow. The most important thing is what Rangers do for themselves in the first cup competition of the season at home to Hibs, with the owner sitting in the stand watching what's going on, and we'll find out how many stop protesting and go in to join him inside the stadium.
It's a big goal. It's a massive goal for Dundee, that. Again, first win of the season, and it's a massive goal for Stephen Presley. So, and that catapults them up the league. I know they're obviously playing a game ahead of everyone, but it's a big victory, especially when they've been pegged back and then they managed to get that last minute goal if they can see it over the line. Huge victory for them.
Yeah, he certainly needed it. You've got to say that, especially when you're 2-0 up, you're desperate for that first victory, and you're at home, you get pegged back. But I think if Aberdeen lose to Motherwell next Saturday, Jimmy Tillene could be away. It's amazing the amount of managers already. It's not even October, and we're talking about managers that are under severe pressure. This is Aberdeen Football Club. I agree with you, Hugh. I'm not going against you here. I agree with you. I think he's under. You heard the boos there when Dave was giving his full-time report. So under severe pressure. The one thing I've been worried about all day is Fraser Wisher still there? Is he okay? I'm starting to worry about him.
No, he's not finished yet, I don't think, is he? No, not yet. I'm sure there was a bit of a delay on that one, but a great result for Motherwell, Gordon. In fact, we'll get back to that, because what an afternoon David Friel has witnessed. Take us through it.
I'll take you through it, Gordon. What an afternoon, what a game. Dundee 3, Livy 2 in the end. But I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this game of football. Dundee had it won at 2-0 up. Livy were back in it at 2 each. Lewis Smith almost put them 3-2 ahead. Then Dundee ran up the other end of the park. They won a penalty. The penalty was finally given after VAR, and Callum Jones scored to give Dundee their first Premiership win of the season. Stephen Presley's first Premiership win as a manager. They're up to 5th. Rangers are down to 11th. And what a game of football this was. I'm trying to think back. I mean, Simon Murray put Dundee ahead in the first half. Cam Congreve, outstanding for Dundee all throughout the game. He crossed some, great finish. Livy came out, had a couple of chances, and then Dundee made it 2-0, almost a carbon copy. Congreve again, this time Joe Wesley put the ball in from close range. At that stage you thought it was game over, you thought Dundee were just going to cruise it, but Livy had other ideas. Daniel Finlayson down the right, crossed in. Clark Robertson put the ball into his own net. That was 74 minutes in the clock at that point. You thought, are Livy going to get back into it? And they did. A penalty, I think it was Lewis Smith who went down, and Jeremy Bakila at 36 years of age, he took the ball level. Great penalty into the top corner to make it 2 each. Ashley Hay could have put Dundee ahead, made it 3-2. He headed over from close range. Then up the other end, Lewis Smith, he looked certain to score. It was an unbelievable save from John McCracken. You thought that would be the last drama, but Dundee had other ideas. Up the other end, Charlie Riley down. There was a VAR check. Ross Hardy told to go and have a look by Stephen McLean, but he stuck to his guns. He gave the penalty, and credit to Callum Jones. Showed great nerve to send Jerome Pryor the wrong way. And what a win, what a day. And Dundee will just look to bounce up from this and just build on it. Huge day for Stephen Presley. Must went through every single emotion out there, but his team won it in the end. Full time, Dundee 3, Livingston 2.
Oh, one of the most dramatic games of the Premiership season there from David Friel. A huge cup tie with big consequence at Pittodrie. Safe to say Fraser Wishart had a quieter afternoon.
Yeah, much quieter. It was Airdrieonians 0, Wraith Rovers 0. Second half was a bit better, but you had a feeling it was going to be 0-0 from 10 minutes on. First half was really poor. Wraith much better in the second half. Had a few good efforts, a couple of cleared off the line, but despite the pressure, couldn't get the vital goal. The only moment of talking points, in the first half was a controversial decision by Ryan Lee, the referee. 29 minutes. Ross Matthews tackled Telford 25 yards from goal. It fell to Jack Hamilton, who scored from 20 yards. Referee Lee gave a foul. It looked wrong to me, and the Rovers fans agreed. Hoping for better in the second half, and Wraith came out with a real purpose and began to take control. 49 minutes, they almost took the lead, and in swinging Ewan Wilson corner flick goalward by Scott Brown, kicked off the line by Aidan Wilson. Then sub Lewis Vaughan, his first touch was a header that hit Dylan McDonald on the line at the post. And the only time that Airdrie had tested Ray was when a handling clearance was blocked by Cole McKinnon, and the keeper Ray had to move smartly to his right to save it. Then on it was all Wraith Rovers. 78 minutes, Vaughan burst onto a chin pass, 1-1 with the goalkeeper, and unlike him, Lewis Vaughan, he took a bad first touch. It allowed Connolly to dive at his feet, and Vaughan could only poke the ball wide for a goal kick. Chin then had the chance himself in the 6-yard box. Good save by Connolly, diving at his feet to block it in the 6-yard box. Dylan Easton then came to life. His shot was deflected. It looked over the keeper and cleared off line by Dylan McDonald. Then the forward curled a shot from 18 yards, just a foot wide. But despite all the pressure, they couldn't get the winner, and they almost lost the game in the 49th minute of the second half. Cole McKinnon with the shot, it deflected off his teammate Aaron Reid. The ball bounced up, hit the bar, and fell into the hands of Josh Ray, who was diving the wrong way. The big goalkeeper thankful to grab onto the ball. Better point for Airdrie. They remain bottom without a win, but Wraith will feel they should have won it. They are now 5 points behind St Johnstone in the league table. Full-time Airdrie Onions 0, Wraith Rovers 0.
What about Ibrox, Andrew McLean? Has it quietened down? Have people stopped protesting and headed inside or headed home? What's the state of play?
No, not at all. Numbers are not dwindling here whatsoever. Supporters are still outside the front doors. They're still chanting against Russell Martin. They're still chanting against Patrick Stewart. These fans don't care that there's a game on the go today, that Rangers kick off in 45 minutes time. That's not on anyone's mind here. All they want to do at the moment is make sure that the people inside Ibrox know what they feel about Russell Martin and Patrick Stewart. I'm just looking at a couple of people now who are holding up a sign, a bed sheet that has written on it, Russell out, worst manager in inverted commas I should say, in history. Those posters with the faces of Russell Martin and Patrick Stewart, scored out, are still being held up high. Rangers fans still are standing here outside Ibrox, thousands of them, numbers not dwindling, and I think this will continue for a good time yet.
An incredible day at Ibrox. It's now over to you on the phone lines, by the way. 0141 951 1025. Motherwell fans, you're heading to Hampden alongside you. St Mirren fans, how are you feeling about that? Give us your thoughts. Aberdeen fans, where does this leave Jimmy Tilleen? Rangers fans, if you're not at the game, should you be? Have you decided to stay away? And if you're not generally go to games, what are you making of the fact that the protest is taking place? Are you backing it from a distance? Maybe you're there actually. Maybe you're listening. You want to give us a call. Please do. 0141 951 1025. You could talk about the actual football match, because we're hoping it's a good one between Rangers and Hibs. Nico Raskin back in. What do you make of that decision? Again, same number. And if you want to turn your attentions to tomorrow or any of the other big talking points, you can do it as well. 0141 951 1025. We will speak to you next.
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref is even called in, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet, want to see them leave early, want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future, want to hear them agree, and if not I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
All done. Your BMW's been fully serviced and is good to go.
Oh, thanks so much.
That's great. Cheers.
Much appreciated.
When you bring your car home to BMW, you'll get genuine parts, expert technicians and a range of payment options tailored to you. It's all part of our commitment to exceptional value for money and ultimate peace of mind.
Wonderful. Thank you.
No need to thank us. It's all part of the BMW service. Search BMW service to discover more. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, Jamie's got a new car. He only passed his test last week. Chloe and the kids on the school run in their new hybrid, and the Flemings from 23 off to see their daughter at uni. Get car and van insurance that's right up your street at parkerscompare.com. Created by the experts at Parkers, we're 100% independent and dedicated to helping you find the right insurance policy. Quick and easy, you could compare quotes in just 5 minutes from some of the UK's leading providers. For car insurance comparisons you can trust, visit parkerscompare.com. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Welcome back to Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Hugh Keevans, Cammy Bell and Gordon DL are here. It's that time on a Saturday where you get in touch and let us know what you're thinking, either about the games that have just passed, and I'm looking at you Aberdeen and Motherwell fans obviously feeling brilliant about themselves heading to Hampden, so sum up how today was at Pittodrie. Aberdeen on the other hand, what's going on there? Where does this leave Jimmy Tilleen? Is he actually under pressure? Is it not quite at that stage yet? It's been a bad start to the league season, and now you've added failure to progress in the Cup at home to that, so let us know your thoughts please. I think clearly the story of the day is unfolding at Ibrox. We knew it would be. There was a planned protest at 4:30. It started prior to that. It's still going. Banners calling for the removal of Russell Martin and Patrick Stewart, placards with their faces on them with the red line through. You've all seen the one. Various chants that are not too pleasant towards Russell Martin, and that's before the game has even kicked off. On the football front though, Nico Raskin is straight back into the starting 11, so get all your thoughts please. There is so much to get through. 0141 951 1025. Quite a lot happening, Hugh.
Yeah, a particularly venomous protest outside Ibrox, and it tells you the story of the day that if Russell Martin were to lose this game to Hibs, I can't foresee any circumstances which keep him in office. But as I say, Andrew Kavanagh is here. It would be helpful, I think, for all concerned that if Andrew Kavanagh made his feelings known in public, because you have to address people who are outside the ground and you have to give them your perspective. That's for later on. The immediate priority for Russell Martin, and incidentally the banner saying the worst manager in Rangers history, that's got to be inaccurate, because he hasn't had enough games to determine whether he's worse than some of his predecessors. But it does signify the depth of feeling against him. Russell Martin simply has to beat Hibs.
Do you back that protest? Do you agree with the sentiment? Are you there? Were you there? Have you decided to stay away from the game today? Would you normally go? All those thoughts worth considering, I think, for us. So if you fall into any of those categories, or if I've missed one, please let me know on that usual number, 0141 951 1025. In terms of what we've seen so far today though, Gordon, the Steelmen taking the headlines with an honourable mention to Livy in the league.
Yeah, and deservedly so. I thought they were excellent this afternoon, Gordon. They went up there. I thought a lot of people made Motherwell the favourites. I know in the league they've been playing really attractive football but not getting over the line. But today they created a lot of chances. They had over 1,000 supporters up there chanting them on as well. So it shows you everybody's buying into this style of football that the managers start to play, and they're absolutely loving it. That's a great result for them. They've got a Hampden trip to look forward to. They can sit back now with St Mirren and wait for Rangers and Celtic, Hibs and Partick Thistle to see what the outcome of that is. But brilliant day for Motherwell.
Imagine trying to explain Scottish football to people though, Hugh, who've just landed here, because I'm sure they get the point of a protest. But you remember during COVID, the Celtic fans were protesting. They were throwing the barriers, and it looked like a shark. Yeah, that's all it was. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
So it's now become a phrase like "get the sharks out" or whatever. So the Rangers fans are now waving inflatable sharks. Someone will need to run that past Andrew Kavanagh and give him the backstory.
Andrew Kavanagh, I would say it's essential that we hear from him before he goes back to America. If he is intent on keeping Russell Martin, no matter what happens tonight against Hibs, come out and tell everyone why.
I mean, I think he is though. I know what you're saying about you want to kind of hear it from the horse's mouth, but the Rangers Fan Advisory Board met with Patrick Stewart, Kevin Thelwell. The minutes of that meeting are available. They go into great detail as to why they don't have managerial change on the horizon.
Yeah, again, I would probably expect to hear from Andrew Kavanagh. I'm not expecting to hear before the game, but certainly after the game, because he's over here, there's so much disruption, and I would expect to hear from him no matter what way the game goes today for Rangers. If they win, I would still expect to hear from him as well, and just to reiterate, he's either backing of the manager, which I would fully expect if they win, and then if there's defeat, I would still expect, because there's so much going on at the club at the moment. The protests isn't ideal for the club at this moment in time, so he really needs to come out and say where they're up with the management staff and the long-term future of the club.
It's okay getting the backing from inside, of course it is. That's the important bit about it for Russell Martin. But I'm with you. If you've started this league campaign the way Rangers have, and then they get put out the cup at home to Hibs, I don't see how you can get the backing. No, I really don't. And I know that they can't keep going down the road of sacking managers and changing managers. They've invested a lot. They've brought in 13 players, right? But there's no. If they lose today, you're looking and saying there's no signs of Russell Martin turning this around.
Yep.
I think it clearly is that, though, isn't it? Just it's a bigger picture. I mean, I know they've spoken about, and this maybe will annoy the Rangers fans, but you've got to, I guess, sympathise. If they've got the reasons, they've got the reasons. But I'm sure in the minutes of the meeting, Patrick Stewart alluded to saying that sometimes you can tell, the mood around the place, but morale's good, the atmosphere inside the training centre's good, that sort of thing. I do think we maybe overlook that a bit. Because you've both been there. When a manager's done, or if the players aren't having him, and sometimes we on the outside will never find out, behind the scenes. So they've kind of tried to bring that into their thinking as well, and say that it doesn't appear to be at that stage behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's very hard for us, obviously, looking from the outside, Gordon. But what I see in the pitch, what I see with the manager in his interviews, I don't think the players are totally 100% switched on with him. If I'm honest about it, I think they must sit like everybody else, look at his press interviews and think, a bit baffling here. He's thrown us under a bus a couple of times. I don't think players like that. Now, I'm not all this that the players should be protected. It'll be a big game for the players because they've got to go out and show a bit of personality this afternoon.
Adam is a Rangers fan. He's going to kick us off tonight. How do you feel about this, Adam? The scenes outside Ibrox, quite a lot of people, quite a lot of noise. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I totally get why the protests are happening, but I just find it so hard that I wouldn't go along or be there just because the Union Bears seem to think that they speak for everyone at the club and they almost run the club. And it's so frustrating sometimes. Even sometimes the players go over to the Union Bears as if they're more important than everyone else. So I don't know. I just feel like a lot of Rangers fans that sit around where we sit.
I think, Adam, the younger element tend to be obviously the most vociferous for Union Bears, Reed Green Brigade, and all the rest of it. Young people, it's habitual now. They congregate behind the goal and they dress the same, and it all looks fairly regimental. But you have to ask yourself, do they represent the other fans, the older fans, in terms of what they think about Russell Martin and Patrick Stewart? What do you think, Adam, about Russell Martin and Patrick Stewart?
Well, I was one for giving Russell Martin a chance at the start, but you could see straight away he wouldn't change, and I never thought the way he plays was ever going to work against teams in Scotland, especially the likes of Martindale and McInnes. They'll just love playing against us. The way we play, it's so easy. They just shuffle and defend against us, and he won't change. And then I don't understand why he seemed to change and be more aggressive against Celtic and then goes back. What happened to setting up teams to play against a specific team?
So the younger people's conduct is not necessarily to your liking, but the sentiments are.
It's too simple, that as well. There are various Rangers fan groups that I just said to you there, the Rangers Fan Advisory Board has had a meeting with Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell to try and ask for the removal of Russell Martin.
Yeah, you can't throw this all on.
It's not just like, it's not an age thing. It's not a Union Bears thing. Yes, naturally they mobilise. They're a group organised, and therefore sort of putting out statements or trying to organise things, a bit of the attention goes there.
And anywhere in the minutes do they say why they're behind Russell Martin?
Like I said, that it's too early, can't keep changing. They see the work that's been done behind the scenes, a lot of overhaul.
I don't agree with that. I honestly,
I don't either.
Look, I'm not here to get managers a sack. I've stood in shoes as a manager, and it's not a nice place to be when they protest against you. But you've got to see signs of something happening, right? It is a bit early. We're only 5 games in, but the way he started, he's brought in 13 signings, 14 signings. He had the backing of the board. His football is not to the Rangers fans, fancy delight, whatever it may be. He's got to start winning games, Gordon. Now, he can turn it around. He can turn it around if he beats Hibs tonight and he gets a good performance, and then Raskin's back in. All of a sudden, it starts to go a little bit for him. He's got a few league games of the Europa League. But if he doesn't start winning games, and I'm talking about tonight, I cannot see, I don't care about minutes or whatever, the backing, he'll get forced out.
My problem is that I don't see any progression on the pitch. I genuinely don't see what they're doing and the way they're going to go about and win games. And if I could see them again, you reflect back to last week. Yes, they might have had a goal for the foul on the goalkeeper and Shankland's handball in the build up to his goal. But again, they're just small details of why they lost the game. If you look at the bigger picture, the first half, Hearts were the better team. So I just can't see any progression on the pitch, and that's probably the big warning sign for me. He's been in there long enough now, and I know it is a short period, but I would expect to have wins on the board. I would expect to see, again, I said this last week, there's probably, you could say, 90 minutes worth of good football throughout all the games that Rangers have played so far this season, that Rangers fans have seen, and that's not good enough. So
and you can't get away with coming out in the press conferences and saying, well, you should see us on a Thursday and Friday.
No, that's nonsense.
Rangers fans don't want to hear that. That's not leadership from above, being a strong manager.
Listen,
You've
Rangers
got to come out and address what the situation
Rangers
is.
could have been at Loch Lomond all week. As long as they win tonight, that's all the Rangers fans care about.
Adam, Nicholas Raskin's back in. I've yet to hear a Rangers fan who isn't on board with that decision. Can I add you to the list?
Yeah, that's obvious choice, isn't it? He has to play, regardless. I mean, managers through the years have had difficult players, but he has to play. He's the best player.
It could be, I know it's not unpopular to look at it from Nicholas Raskin's, or put the focus on him a bit, but he could be doing with having a good game.
Oh yeah,
because you know what it's like in football. You can become a bit better when you're out the team.
If Rangers lose, then he'll get it in the neck along with every other player. There'll be no exceptions made in the event of a defeat. So Russell Martin in that scenario is in a win-win situation. You put him in, there you are, I've given you what you want, there he is. And if Rangers don't win, he can say, well, there you are. He doesn't automatically guarantee victory.
Adam, can the protests today, you've said you're kind of a bit split on it, you understand it, but maybe not organised the way you would want. Do you think that would force change? Like, see, when you see it and you hear it, put yourself in Andrew Kavanagh's shoes, do you think that will shock him?
Yeah, I think it will. I don't think he realises how toxic it is. I mean, even when you're at the stadium, there's like fans just like arguing with each other, and we all agree in the same. We all agree it's not good enough, but everyone's just so angry and frustrated.
Yep, well, listen, enjoy the game if you can. That was Adam on the line. Let's go back to Ibrox. Andrew McLean has come inside the stadium now, so maybe recap what you saw outside, Andrew, and give us the teams again as well. I don't think we've had the Hibs team from you.
Yeah, so outside the stadium there were thousands of Rangers fans who were all there. They were all gathered at the front doors, and they all wanted the people inside Ibrox to know exactly what they thought of Russell Martin and Patrick Stewart. A lot of chants that I couldn't repeat to you, but many of the chants along the lines of Russell Martin, get out of our club, that type of thing. The songs aimed at Patrick Stewart as well. There was a big banner that said take aim at Martin and Stewart, and it's now less than half an hour to go until kick-off here at Ibrox, and it is probably as quiet as you'll see Ibrox around half an hour before the game. Some fans are starting to filter in. Many will still be protesting outside. Many just won't have turned up to Ibrox at all today. They won't bother bollard of coming along. The Union Bears have made their way in. They've clearly decided to continue the protest inside the stadium. You'd imagine there will be banners to add to that one that was outside the ground. Surely more is planned on top of that. All of it will be seen as well by Andrew Kavanagh, the chairman, the main man at Rangers now, who's flown in from America to see this firsthand. Russell Martin certainly seems to think he's got the backing. Patrick Stewart has alluded to that as well. But you wonder if that could change potentially. Andrew Kavanagh seeing all this firsthand, seeing the empty stands, the banners against the manager, the chants, the anger that's being directed towards him. Only time will tell on that front, so we will see how it all unfolds. When it comes to the team news today, as you mentioned, Gordon, I will give you that again. For Rangers, it's going to be Jack Butland in goal. The back four, James Tavernier, John Souttar, Derek Cornelius and Jayden Magoma. Then a midfield three of Nico Raskin back into the starting lineup. He's alongside Mohamed Diamandi and Tello Asgard, Mikey Moore and JD Gassama either side of Bojan Miovski. On the bench for Rangers today, Kelly, Aarons, Barron, Chermiti, Bayrami, Antman, Giga, Curtis and Danilo. For Hibs, where you think they'll be coming into this and they'll feel that they could really take the game to Rangers today, just given the recent form. Not so good of course in that game against Dundee United, conceding 3 goals, but with the way Rangers are and that home crowd, you'd think Hibs would think they stand a real chance of getting past Rangers and getting into the semi-finals of the Cup. It's going to be Salinger in goal for them today. The back three, Grant Hanley, Rocky Bushiri and Jordan Abita. It'll be Josh Mulligan and Nicky Cadden as the wing backs, and it'll be Chaiwa and Levitt with Jamie McGrath in midfield. Martin Boyle partnering Kieran Bowie up top. The substitutes for Hibs in this one at Ibrox: Smith, O'Hora, Molotnikov, Cleege, Iredale, Hoylett, Campbell, Cadden and Barlaser.
Lots to look forward to on the pitch. You forget there's a really good cup tie in store there. That's an interesting Hibs team, some players playing in some interesting areas, so that's one to bear in mind. The Rangers team, of course, interesting by the inclusion of Nico Raskin. I think some people maybe expected Mikey Moore to drop out, having struggled a bit last week, but he remains in. And of course the protests now starting to make its way around social media, the footage make its way on Sky Television and other places. Is that the type of thing that makes ownership groups sit up and take notice? We will continue the build up to Ibrox. We need more of your calls though. What are you thinking out there tonight? We'll get you on next.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
20 minutes till kick-off at Ibrox. It's very quiet so far. We'll see how it fills up and keep an eye on that side of things. There is a school of thought as well that maybe Rangers players would prefer it. Gordon, Andrew Kavanagh won't, so that could be key, that could be critical when he sees an empty Ibrox, if there is one. But if we're talking about anxious players and how they can't handle it, then maybe it's better that it's empty.
Yeah, but if you're sitting in that dressing room as a Rangers player and you're hoping that the stadium's half empty, it would make you play better and take a bit of pressure off you, then I'm sorry, you're in the wrong dressing room, because you've got to go and handle pressure when you go to clubs like Rangers. I said earlier, it's not just a big day for Russell Martin, it's a big day for the players as well. They've got to produce the goods. Everybody wants Raskin back in the team. He's back in. That's a strong Rangers team. It should be good enough at home to beat Hibs, but it's getting out there and handling that pressure.
I think something has to happen, Gordon, to stem the flow of bile. And
we genuinely at the stage where Rangers need to score in the first 2 minutes here, or at least go on, because we used to talk about like every team wants to start well, but I mean like immediately.
Yeah.
Don't do anything that alarms anybody.
What's the reaction of the fans towards the manager when he takes his place in the dugout?
He got booed last week, so.
The other thing, Rangers always start slowly, and to make your point, they've got to be faster today, because those who are there, and they are small in number, nevertheless they'll turn on the team. And as I say, something has to happen to stem the flow of the bile that's coming the way of the head coach and the chief exec. And bare minimum, that has to start with a win over Hibs and take it from there. If Rangers are intent on keeping Russell Martin in post, then okay, Next game, Livy away.
Yeah.
Next game in Europe at home. You have to simply win.
Let's ask Lorraine on the line how she feels about things this evening. Lorraine.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi, I'm really disappointed that there's so many people outside that dressing room chanting what they're chanting ahead of this game. I'm just going to make a quick point. I'm about to pull up and go into the stadium. I think if we're looking to affect any sort of change, we support our players. That's what we do as a support. And if we want to affect a change, then we focus on the finance. That's how to get their attention. This is a business, and if everyone who's a season ticket holder cancels their CCCS, stops buying things at half time, stops buying the merchandise, they will pay attention. They will listen because it hits them where it hurts.
Is the problem with that, Lorraine, is maybe like how long that would take? Because I get your point. It seems that it's a less disruptive way sort of for the football team, and you just go in and you support the team as normal, hit them in the pocket as the phrase goes. But if you are a Rangers fan who wants Russell Martin out yesterday or at the latest tomorrow, you know, getting pie sales to drop for a few weeks, it'd probably take a while for that to really hit home, would it not?
I think if everyone pulled the plug on their CCCS all at once, I think that would be a hard thing for the board to ignore. That is an automated income stream for them. That man said last week in his post-match conference, I recognise, I'm paraphrasing, but I recognise I am the problem, and I'm telling my players I am the problem, but they're full of anxiety, no confidence, but I won't go. We need to do something else.
Well, they're in a mess. You know, Lorraine, they're in a mess, and everything stems from what happens on the park. If you have a successful team, it's not a mess. So they are taking a massive gamble by saying, no matter what you say, we are sticking by Russell Martin, and in the fullness of time we believe it will come good. So they're gambling, and the gamble has to start with a win over Hibs and take it step by step, game by game. The only way this mess can change is on the park, or you can react to what's on the park in a negative way and saying, I don't think Russell Martin is the man, we've made a mistake here. So tonight, a mess. A week from now, depends on results.
Is the problem with this, Lorraine, forgive me, I'm not an expert on exactly how the ticket situation works, but a Rangers fan's going to do that though, because you might make a cup semi-final tonight and people are going to want to go to the game, just simple as that. So they won't cancel their ticket scheme, will they?
Well, I think it's a better way of protesting the change that we are demanding, where we're not being listened to, when this is a business. These 49ers have not come in here because they've got the love and adoration for the club that we do as supporters. They're here as an investment and to make money. If we demand a change by removing the finance, I think they have to pay attention.
I think the owners have already got their attention. They're very clever business people. They'll know exactly what's going on. They're going to see it firsthand today.
That's the thing.
It's
Lorraine
not
thinks
going to be pretty.
Lorraine doesn't think that's right though, because that can then maybe impact the players and so on.
100%. I think Lorraine hits the nail on the head. Your supporters, you've got to go and support 11 guys that kick off at 5:45 tonight, and then the substitutions and everything with it. You support your team. There's other ways of demonstrating your anger. I'm not against it at all. I don't see what the board just now are seeing in the manager. You know, everybody says, well, it's inside the corridors, it's a good place. The manager saying Thursday, Friday were excellent in training. Rangers supporters don't want to hear that. They want to see results, and they want to see a result tonight. They want to be in a semi-final.
Yeah, again, you're probably right, Gordon, that it would take time with hitting them in the pocket. That's over a longer period of time. It'll be interesting after today because, again, this is Andrew Kavanagh's first time to see firsthand how frustrated the Rangers fans are. So it'll be interesting to see his reaction. And again, probably a huge part of his reaction will be how they get on tonight in the game. if they lose this game, things are only going to escalate and get worse. If they win the game and progress, then I think it'll de-escalate slightly, but still there'll be a lot of Rangers fans that still want the manager out of the club.
If you're Andrew Kavanagh and you're looking at Ibrox right now, you're seeing far too many blue seats. And Lorraine's correct in so far as he's a businessman. He is a very, very successful businessman. He didn't become so by failing to read the evidence of his own eyes.
Let's thank Lorraine for her thoughts. Enjoyed that call, Lorraine. Enjoy the game if you can. We will speak to Graham in a second, but let's just try and reflect on some other stuff today, where obviously we spin a lot of plates in a Saturday evening. Let's hear from the second manager to land in the semi-finals this weekend. It is Jens Bertil Askew of Motherwell.
We always dream of winning. Dream of winning games because it will lead us to winning trophies. And everyone dreams. I think everyone in football dreams. That's why we're here, of achieving something. Now we've taken the next step in order to be in a final that takes one more win in the cup, and then we'll see who we have to face. There are some really tough teams in the competition still, and we will go all in like we did today with everything we have, because this club has won before and we are hungry to do it again, and let's see who we will face next time.
Not sure many will fancy that, Gordon, the way Motherwell will play, and again you'd imagine they'll enjoy going to Hampden and having the big pitch to go and try it, so I'm not sure they'd be obviously teams will want to avoid the big boys, and Celtic might go through. We don't know about Rangers, but Motherwell are in there on merit.
Yeah, you're right. I think teams will be looking in the semi-final and thinking, if we draw Motherwell here, we're going in for a real good game. I think you touched on a great point there. It shows you the difference, and we talk about styles all the time. Motherwell will enjoy Hampden.
Never said that before.
Exactly. Sometimes you think, they're up against it, they're underdogs, they'll get stretched, it's too big. It's completely different now. It's turned full circle. They will love playing there with the style of football they're playing.
They are so sleek. He is Mercedes Jens.
I see what you've done there. Well done.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, good.
Any Motherwell fans, Motherwell or Aberdeen fans, because I know sometimes the angry voices shout the loudest, so any reflections from Pittodrie, we'll take them. But Graham has Ibrox on his mind. Graham?
Alright, Gordon, how you doing?
Good, how are you, more importantly?
I'm a bit disappointed, mate. I'm a Rangers fan. My protest is no going to the game, and I want Russell Martin out as much as them do, but the way they're chanting at that guy is disgusting. This is a guy going to his work, trying his best. It's not good enough, but surely he doesn't deserve that. Come on, give him a chance, man.
So would you normally have gone, but you've decided to stay away?
It's the first game I've missed in about 5 years.
Well,
at Ibrox. My wee grandson's pal took a ticket, but I'm just saying, that's my protest. No going. I don't want to go when he's there, but the protest is disgusting, honestly.
Difficult to know, Hugh.
For the club and all.
Yeah, I always repeat it. I really would hate us to tell fans how to act.
Of course.
So I think, they're entitled. Because some people might say, but Graham's staying away, so he's not back in the team. But I do get where he's coming from. You're asking people to sort of go and try and send a message, and there's a line. The chant outside is, if you hate Russell Martin, clap your hands. I don't know, is that...
Well, that's mild compared to, it's mild compared to the other one that they use.
I know, but there's a difference between, like, we don't think this guy's the right for the job. I know it doesn't really fit into a chant, right? So I get that, but if you hate Russell Martin, clap your hands.
He's a human being first and foremost. He's probably, his wife and his family are there. Look, I'm for the Rangers fans here. I don't think Russell Martin is going to do anything for Rangers going forward. But I totally agree. I think it's Graham who was saying there. This guy, he's a human. Look, there's ways to protest, of course there are. But you've got to remember, he's got feelings as well. As much as you don't like him, he's got feelings as well. He knows that the Rangers fans are not for him. He doesn't need to open a window to hear the chants. But it's going to be a really interesting...
But look, I get the other side of it. Look, football, he will get worse than that shouted at him. I'm not trying to sanitise everything. I just mean like the tone. I think it's difficult to strike.
Yeah, listen, everyone's again, Graham's not going to the game, so he's protesting the way, but he still wants the same outcome, which is Russell Martin to leave the football club and doesn't think he's got a future there. So for me, that people will voice their opinion in different ways until the right decision comes in their eyes that the manager's moved on. And the reason it is, I think the frustration's there because the owners haven't acted on this, and almost they keep on backing him. There's almost no information coming out of Rangers that Russell Martin is under pressure, and they'd recognise the situation and they say, look, by the way, he needs to win a few games, he needs to win this game tonight. I don't think they would ever come out and say they need to win this game, but it's just been a little bit dismissive of what's actually happening at the club at this moment in time.
There is a level of abuse that's unacceptable, and I think Russell Martin is experiencing that level of abuse which is unacceptable, and his fellow managers are noticing it and remarking upon it. But we have to be perfectly honest with ourselves. In this city and in this country, it's a coarse environment.
Yeah.
And when things are as bad as they are at Ibrox, I'm afraid that the unacceptable level of abuse for some, not for all, becomes the norm.
I mean, Andrew McLean sort of sending me messages about what the chants are. The next one is Patrick Stewart. Oh no, better not. Better not finish that one. However, we will go back to Ibrox because kick-off is fast approaching. We'll thank Graham for his time. We understand his side of things with the protest, and we go back to Andrew when we return.
It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line 0141 951 1025.
Fast approaching kick-off at Ibrox. We could still squeeze plenty more calls in, but we're going to have to turn our attentions as well to what's happening there. But plenty of time still if you so wish. 0141 951 1025. Twitter at Clyde SSB. Andrew McLean, how is the build-up going ahead of this one? I had a look at some pictures. Is it that quiet? I actually feel like this stage of the Cup can sometimes be quiet because it's not on season tickets. Where is this in comparison?
Yeah, it's definitely quieter than normal, but it is starting to fill up a bit. It won't be anywhere near capacity here at Ibrox, but plenty of fans have made their way in. There are still big patches of blue seats, which you normally wouldn't get at a Rangers home game, but maybe more than people possibly expected. You know, you talk about the continuous credit card scheme, is it? And sometimes the Cup tickets are already automatically taken off for season ticket holders, so maybe some people just thought that since they'd paid for it they want to come in. Maybe others have thought the best way to protest is to stand outside, make their voices heard, and then make their way into the stadium and make their voices heard towards Russell Martin, towards the players, and of course towards Andrew Kavanagh, who will be taking his place in the director's box as well. I'm just monitoring the dugout at the moment to see whether Russell Martin has made his way out. Certainly if he has made his way out, it hasn't really been noticed by the Rangers supporters. You would expect, as was the case last week, that he probably will be booed out of the tunnel and into the dugout. Don't think that has happened yet. We'll keep you updated, but the two sections that are full out of the whole of Ibrox, one over to my right where the Union Bears are, you'd expect that they'll keep those protests going inside the stadium after they were leading the protests outside of it, and then the other in front of me to my left where Hibs have that sort of bigger European allocation that you sometimes see at Ibrox. Those fans are in great spirits. They seem really confident in the build-up to this game, but you do wonder how the Rangers players, how Russell Martin will have reacted to everything that's been going on outside the stadium, because you guys mentioned it earlier on, the home dressing room is right on Edmiston Drive. The windows are right outside where thousands of fans had gathered and were chanting against Russell Martin, were chanting against Patrick Stewart. They'll have heard everything. They'll know exactly what was going on outside, and I'm sure they'll hear plenty inside the ground as well. Interested to see how it will manifest itself inside here, what the impact will be as well. There's also that train of thought as well that some people will say, if the crowd aren't as up for it, if there are fewer numbers, could that actually help the players on the pitch? They won't have that same anxiety and anger raining down on them that Russell Martin has labelled as an excuse really as to why his brand of football isn't playing. Or will the limited crowd make more noise so that they are heard? Both teams just making their way out the tunnel at the moment. James Tavernier, of course, leading Rangers as he always does. Martin Boyle is at the front of the Hibs team with the two sides just lining up at the moment. I'll give you those teams again. Two changes for Rangers from that defeat to Hearts. Giga and Barron drop out. Cornelius and Raskin come in. And just before I give you that team, Russell Martin has made his way out to the dugout, shaking hands with David Gray and some of the Hibs officials, and there was plenty of booing from the stands. It is drowned out, of course, by the tannoy system blaring simply the best. But you look over to where the Union Bears are, every single one of them are holding up those posters that they handed out outside the ground with Russell Martin's face on it, Patrick Stewart's face on it, the big red circle and the big stripe through the both of them. And you look around the stadium and there are plenty of fans that are holding those up as well. So Russell Martin will definitely see that. The players will definitely see that. Andrew Kavanagh will definitely see that as well. So you wonder what sort of impact and atmosphere there will be inside the ground. I'll get back to that team news. Jack Butland in goal for Rangers. The midfield three: James Tavernier, John Souttar, Derek Cornelius and Jayden Magoma are the back line. The midfield three, the big story of course, Nico Raskin back in the squad, straight in to the starting lineup. He's alongside Mohamed Diamandi and Tello Asgard. It's Mikey Moore and Jady Gassam either side of Bojan Majovski. The substitutes for Rangers: Kelly, Aarons, Barron, Chermiti, Bayrami, Antman, Giga, Curtis and Danilo. For Hibs, they've made 3 changes from that 3-3 draw with Dundee United last time out. Smith, Chris Cadden and Iredale drop out. Salinger, Hanley and Abita are in, so it's Raphael Salinger in goal. The back three: Grant Hanley, Rocky Bashiri and Jordan Abita. It's then Josh Mulligan and Nicky Cadden, the 2 wing backs. Miguel Chaiwa, Dylan Levitt and Jamie McGrath are the 3 in midfield. Martin Boyle and Kieran Bowie leading the line. The substitutes: Smith, O'Hora, Chris Cadden, Iredale, Kalichi, Barlaser, Hoylett, Campbell and Molotnikov. The referee for this one is Nick Walsh. The VAR is Andrew Dallas. Nick Walsh takes one final look at his watch and we are ready to go at Ibrox for Rangers against Hibs.
Right, so now it's over to the football match. Hugh Keevins, what are you thinking?
I have to say, Gordon, before I tell you what I think, that in my lifetime, having first gone to a football match in the 1950s, I have never seen anything like this at Rangers, Celtic or any other club. However, the players and Russell Martin have to rise above it, and I think with Raskin back in the team, they will proceed to the semi-final.
I'm going to go with Hugh in this one. I've got sneaky, I don't know what it is. I just feel that with everything going on there today, a result is needed, a big result. I think they'll get to the semi-final. I would, if I was Russell Martin coming out that tunnel, I'd have come out with Broxy Bears outfit on, I've got to say.
Cammy, I actually think looking at it, it's probably more about how the crowd reacts. So obviously we've seen the banners, we heard the boos, there might be more. We need to wait and see how the game pans out. In terms of the actual number, I don't think there's anything huge in that. I was looking at some of the other attendances. So at this stage, a few seasons ago, Rangers played Dundee as an example. I think it was 36,000 there. I think the next season they played Livy at this stage. And I know those are smaller fixtures and maybe midweek and stuff. But this stage of the Cup can have attendances of in the 30s. So I don't think Ibrox looks outrageously empty. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's just more about how those who have turned up sort of treat things.
Yeah, and again, it's obviously the protests that are going on before the game. The Union Bears, you could clearly see them putting up the banners that they've made and letting their voices be heard towards the manager. So, listen, as you say, it's probably slightly less than what they would have been expecting. But again, the game started. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out, because I do fancy Rangers to get a result today. I really do.
I don't think it's that bad a crowd for a quarter to 6 kick-off as well.
Yeah.
You've got to take that into consideration. Televised, yeah. So it's not as bad as what I think everybody thought it was going to be.
However, we spoke about the need for a fast start. No matter what level of football you're playing anywhere in the world this weekend, every team will say we want to start fast. I doubt any team needs it as much as Rangers, though. No. Like, genuinely needs it.
Yeah, because you have to recognise what the atmosphere would be like if Hibs were to take the lead. And it would have a tremendously negative effect on the crowd and just make matters even worse. So, cliche it may be, but the first goal is vital.
Also, even a sign of it, Gordon, because we've spoke about this, it's not all about results for Rangers. The Rangers fans are not daft. I don't think they need a goal, but if Rangers could at least go on a number of attacks, sustain some pressure, play even close to the type of football that they were promised when Russell Martin took over.
Yeah, I think what the players need to do is take the attention away from the manager, and by doing that is getting on the front foot, getting it wide, get in behind Hibs, try and create chances, get the crowd up for watching the football game, not just for standing there singing protest against the football manager. So the players have got, I said it earlier, big responsibility. And remember, they're playing for a place at Hampden in the semi-final of this cup.
Because similarly, Cammy, you'll have gone to Ibrox as an opposing player so many times, and the talk is always about trying to silence the crowd or whatever, or turn the crowd. Again, it will never have been more obvious for Hibs that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, again, it'll be, I think David Gray set his Hibs team up with a similar approach with regards to just frustrating Rangers, slow the game down. It doesn't look as if Hibs have got a really high press and they're going after the ball too much in the first few minutes of this game. So I think they'll just be looking to frustrate Rangers, frustrate the fans, because the longer the game goes on 0-0, the more the chance will come, the more the frustration will come from the stadium. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
James Tavernier just getting a mild warning from Nick Walsh. He's trying to show signs of aggression early on, but too much as far as the referee was concerned, through the back of Nicky Cadden, I think, over on the far side. You can see anytime the camera goes for any sort of close-up, you can see banners, those ones like we said, the placards with Patrick Stewart and Russell Martin's faces on them with the red line through it. Interestingly, I've just seen the Celtic fans are going to hold up the same for Peter Lawwell and Michael Nicholson and one other tomorrow.
Chris Mackay?
Yeah, that's the one. So,
finance director.
I wonder if they use the same printing company.
As long as I've never minded it when I was a manager, as long as it was a good photo. What the disturbing thing was, if it was a bad photo, you were in bad.
Isn't it ironic? You know, the Celtic bringing out the figures last night, and as I say, they are by far the best run club probably in Britain. But that's the annoyance for the fans, because you had it and you didn't spend it properly.
Right, Gassam goes on the attack and chops back. Rangers looking to launch something into the final third. Mikey Moore involved. Raskin is the one who stands that ball up to the back post. There are all sorts of claims. I don't know where it's going to end. A goal kick, I think. Only 5 minutes in, and I'm not going to exaggerate and get carried away, but Nico Raskin has started the game quite well, hasn't he? Just a few times where he's got it under pressure, turned out the other side, launched an attack for Rangers.
Well, he's got a big point to prove to everyone, right? He's got a big point to prove to the Rangers fans who were crying out for him, singing his name. So he's got to go out and perform. He's a good player. Let's not be kidding. He's probably Rangers' best midfield player, but he's got to abide by the same rules as everybody else.
Russell Martin can't win. You know, if Nico Raskin does inspire Rangers to a win, they'll simply say,
why was he not in before?
Yeah. That's your fault, because you didn't play him before. So every way he turns, Russell Martin gets it in the neck, even if he wins.
But he needed to get him back in, because he's so influential for Rangers. I think he dictates the game. He can change the pace of the game. His range of passing is really good. Listen, you're not playing for Belgium if you're a bad player, so you needed to get him back in the team. And I totally get, Hugh, that you could get criticism from him playing and then winning the game, but he needs to get over that hurdle, because he needs to win this game.
And they've started extremely well.
He dragged one wide of the post, Nico Raskin. He won't like the way he caught that, but he did get in good space. It's a comfortable start for Rangers. They're in good areas, they're in good position. Not much doing yet. Interestingly though, Hugh, it's not just the Union Bears. There are a few different banners in the Broomloan. 3 different ones saying Martin out, one saying Stewart out. So, you know, again, this is spread right around the stadium.
I can only imagine that Patrick Stewart is held in contempt, because he was the reason, or one of the reasons, why Russell Martin was appointed in the first place. So all of this will go on and on and on, and only time will tell if Russell Martin is indeed the man for the job or hopelessly miscast.
Mikey Moore seems to have taken a sore one. Not really sure what happened. Maybe just, is that the old collision of knees?
Yeah.
I think it is, which is never good, is it? It's always a sore one. He's limping quite heavily. In fact, he's gone down.
I don't know if it was he either clashing knees or he blocked the ball, and it's maybe opened up his foot and opened up his knee. I'm not sure.
Now James Tavernier's giving him some comfort over there just to try. You get another look at it. Yeah, I think it's exactly that.
Yeah.
Cammy's described it perfectly. Oliver Antman is out to warm up. I did say Mikey Moore, in the eyes of some Rangers fans, lucky to start the game. It'd be quite something if he only lasted 8 minutes. But there we go, we're almost out of time on tonight's Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard, so we won't have time for any more calls. We'll just stay with you in the opening stages of this one. But the beauty is, doesn't go away for long, does it? The guys are back tomorrow to go through whatever happens here. And of course, your old mucker Mark Wilson, what a chance to boost the managerial CV by winning the toughest task of them all.
I'll tell you what, it'd be no living with them if he got a result tomorrow. Look, they're at home. I think Mark explained that money coming in from the Celtic tie helped the club massively. That's if you're a club like Partick and you get a tie like Celtic or Rangers and the fans and the stadium sold out, it's brilliant financially for them. Listen, as the old cliche, it's a free hit tomorrow against the champions. Celtic will go there obviously looking to get the game won very, very quickly. But Mark will be well organised. He's had a good start to his league campaign. I know he got off to the worst possible start with St Johnstone, but after that the results have been very good. So we wish him all the very, very best.
All you can ever say is, Hugh, you never know. It's cup football, it's two teams, 90 minutes, maybe more. Celtic need to take care of their own business.
The greatest result in Partick Thistle's history was a League Cup defeat against Celtic, 4-1, Hampden, 1971. That's what Mark has to emulate tomorrow, and then he takes his place in history.
Other than that, easy task. So lots to look forward to tomorrow. But before we even get to that, how will this play out at Ibrox? The protests are done, the banners are up, the chanting will continue, but who's going to go through in the cup? Because St Mirren are already there, Motherwell are already there. Will Hibs or Rangers join them? Enjoy the rest of your Saturday in the company of the GBX. The guys will be back to look after you tomorrow afternoon, and I will speak to you Monday. Scottish football, you wouldn't have it any other way. Never letting you down in the drama stakes. Let's see what's up next. Have a good one.